Welcome into Cody Gold here on 96.5 The Fan. You're home for the Chiefs. You're home for the Royals. Cody Tapp with you for the next 4 hours. Drew Nixon with you for the next 4 hours. Joshua Brisco, our Chiefs contributor, will join me in studio as my co-host from noon until 2. So, Drew, we got to do 2 hours, just the two of us. And then Brisco will come in and get us on to the holiday weekend. I actually kind of meant, I think you guys are going to do some version of the fan club tomorrow. Drew will be here for the show tomorrow. I kind of meant to maybe do a second version of that today and bring in some beers, but I forgot. So unless Brisco wants to pick up a 6-pack, I got nothing. I got nothing for 1 o'clock today.
I'm going to save it for tomorrow. I think Mac and I are going to be hosting the show tomorrow. Mac and I are going to have a fan club. We're going to have Kramer in for the last hour of the show as well.
Oh, so Kramer, the Raiders perspective. For those who don't know, Kramer is a Las Vegas Raiders fan, unfortunately for him. But he is a Raiders fan, so that's fitting at least on that end. Get him in for Raiders Week for your last show of the week. Makes sense. If you got any thoughts, comments, questions, 913-586-7965. We can take some calls earlier in the show if you guys want. We can get your thoughts over on the video stream at the Fan 965 on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Wherever you get your streaming platforms, we're over there as well. Plus, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm going to thank him, actually. 11:35, Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to come on the show. He once did the Chiefs a huge favor. He once won a football game late in the season that helped propel the Chiefs to home field advantage. So he deserves his proper thanks. Plus, we'll talk to him about things he sees out of the Chiefs offense, what Xavier Worthy's doing, those things and those interests before. From the 816, the first text in. Hey, can we get a quick update on the Guillotine League? I'm assuming you're asking that because I was eliminated. Last night was it for me, Drew. My team fell.
Dang.
It was between me or Alex. One of the two of us was going to go down. I needed 15 points in a PPR league from Zay Flowers, and I came up about 3 points short, 2 points short. So he wins. I lose. The Guillotine League is down to 6 team members.
Did Gold send you a text last night?
He did not.
Oh, okay.
He did not. He's just going to let it just linger, I guess, My team was eliminated last night. No more me in Guillotine. Man, I had the third most money. Bye weeks, man. Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and Josh Allen were on bye. You think those are going to be popular players for the bidding this week?
You would think so. Whoever's got money left is Jamar Chase chasing.
You know what it is, man? You just can't survive
chasing.
bye weeks all the time. You know what it happens? You just can't survive bye weeks.
Well, that in the first comment you said is, you know what? It's one less thing to worry about. It's one less fantasy team.
One less. I got 2 other ones. I'm in 3 fantasy leagues this year. I was in 4 actually because I was in charge Guillotine League, but I got knocked out.
That's
weeks
way
ago
too many.
Well, at least 2 of them are Guillotine leagues. So now I'm down to 2. Now I'm down to a respectable number of regular leagues too. One of which I have a good team and one of which I don't. We'll talk more about not fantasy football later, but football in general. As I mentioned, Josh Brisco will join us today at noon. Nate Taylor will be on the phone with us at 12:30. We'll try to hear from Patrick Mahomes later in the show, and like I mentioned, Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I was doing a little thinking last night, and I think one of the most common questions any of us will get asked in a sports-related Thanksgiving week holiday conversation, Drew, is fairly obvious. What teams do you think can beat the Chiefs? Right? Which teams do you think can beat the Chiefs? Who are the real Super Bowl contenders? I decided I was going to decide my Super Bowl contenders on the NFC and the AFC side by one very simple metric, and you would be shocked how easy it was to diagnose the best teams in the league. Simple, it turns out, Drew, because when I give you this list, I think there's maybe one team that would give people an argument that I've decided that I'm going to take serious because of my standards. My metric for determining the teams who can win the Super Bowl this year, week 12 of the NFL season, is simple. We are 2/3 of the way through the season. Are you a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense? If you are both of those things, congratulations. I consider you a Super Bowl contender this late in the season. If you are not, kick rocks, which means last night's 2 teams, the Ravens and the Chargers, see you later. Ravens don't have a top 10 defense. They have the most efficient offense in the league. Can't play a lick of defense. Chargers have a top 10 defense. Do not have a top 10 offense. They're eliminated. Here are the teams. The Chiefs who have the 10th best offense in the league and the 9th best defense. I know that probably surprises some teams on probably both ends. Defense has been slipping. They were third 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. We let up, 30 to the Bills and then let up another 27 to your bad opponent in the Carolina Panthers. That'll happen quick. The Lions, who have the first-ranked offense and the second-ranked defense. Dear God. Absolute juggernaut. Their offense is scoring 32 points a game, and their defense is only giving up 16, which means on average, they are winning their football games by 2 full touchdowns. We can't even get the Chiefs to win a game by 10 points. They're winning on average by 2 full touchdowns. The Vikings, who have the 9th-ranked offense and the 5th-ranked defense. The Eagles, who rank 7th in offense and 6th in defense. The Bills, who have the 3rd-ranked offense and the 7th-ranked defense in points per game. And the Packers, who are 8th and 10th. That's it. That's your list of Super Bowl contenders, which does point out one clear thing about the AFC. It's the Chiefs and the Bills, and it's nobody else. Okay? Chiefs and the Bills and nobody else. I see that from the 6-2. Chiefs can't play a lick of defense either. For the last 2 weeks, you are correct. For the last month, you are correct. On the season, it's inaccurate, and I'm basing this on an aggregate. Are the Chiefs playing good defense right now? Absolutely not. I'm not here to lie to you, but that's not the position they're in. So the question from the 816, so if the Chiefs slip to 11 this week on defense, do you tell them to kick rocks? Great question. Great question. Good news is for the Chiefs. They're the only team on this list who gets more leeway. And the reason why is because they have Patrick Mahomes. He's worth a spot or two.
Okay.
Come on. Are you kidding? He's worth a spot or two.
Okay. So
they can't slip to like 19th.
I was going to say.
But if they're 11th, the Chiefs get the pass.
So if they're 15, is it still...
No, 15's too far. That's too far.
Okay.
11th? No, Mahomes is worth 2 spots either way.
Okay.
So you can get to 12th and you're fine. You get to 13th, we start having a conversation in which I'm concerned.
I do think it is interesting when you look at the way that things have shaken out in the AFC and in the NFC. We can't tell you who's coming out of the NFC because there's multiple teams, but we can categorize it down to when it comes down to playoff time. You mentioned both these or all of these teams have both units inside of the top 10.
Yeah.
That's what you can hang your hat on in a way when you get to the postseason is you need that combination. The Ravens, as great as they are on offense, if it comes down to them playing one of these teams, whether it be the Bills or the Chiefs, they're going to have a hard time because their defense stinks. They might be able to score, but can they stop you? And when you're going up against a team that's got a top 10 offense, it's going to be tough for them to stop. Because, again, that's the thing last night is you look and you say, okay, the Ravens won the game last night. They gave up only 23 points, but it's to the Chargers. The Chargers offense has scored 27 last week against the Bengals, who stink on defense. And the Ravens, they scored 23. The Ravens stink on defense as well. So this is an offense that, as you said, Cody, is not even in the top 10.
No, it's like 15th, 19th, it's something like that. It's like in the bottom half.
Maybe top 15, and they're still scoring 20-plus points on the Ravens. So, yeah, it makes you concerned if you're trying to rely on, hey, the Ravens still have a legitimate shot at this win. They probably don't when it comes down to the playoffs.
I would borderline, I would almost guarantee it. I don't think you'd give me even money on it. But if we just said, all right, I'm going to bet a texter on the text line $100. You can have every team in the league, and I get these. No, who's taking the bet? No one,
nobody
right?
should.
No one's taking the bet.
Nobody should.
Those are the Super Bowl contending teams, and we all know it, right? We all know that those are the Super Bowl contending teams. The thing that stands out to me is at least the Chiefs aren't in the NFC. There are more teams to take serious over there. Lions, Vikings, Eagles, and Packers all fall within this system of measurement as it sits right now. They all are in that range. Are some more serious than others? Sure. The Lions are 1st and 2nd. The Vikings are 9th and 5th. The Packers are barely in there, right? At 8th and 10th, kind of similar to Kansas City at 9th and 10th. But I think if I had just asked you without pulling these things, Drew, give me your 6 best Super Bowl contenders. This is pretty close to the list. I think the exchange a lot of people would make in a national media perspective, or if I had asked just a regular fan, is they'd probably kick out the Vikings and they'd find some other team to put in there. What I'm telling you is the Vikings have consistently done both things, play offense and play defense all season long. So you better take them at least semi-serious. And before you're like, can Sam Darnold make a Super Bowl out of the NFC? I would recommend you go and look at the NFC representation at quarterback over the last 15 years. because way more than the AFC, it's a mixed bag of weirdness.
Yeah.
Why don't we just look at the let's look at the 49ers. Like, they've put Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo there. Jalen Hurts has some detractors. Maybe not this year. Certainly last year he did, right? Where does he rank amongst the top 10, 15 quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, right? I think there's a lot of people probably have him 9th or 10th. Like, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold's the 10th best quarterback. He's not. But he's also not the league's worst quarterback either. And the NFC seems to put a lot of interesting teams and quarterbacks into the conversation anyway.
So I don't think this plays into the way that the teams shake up, because there's some guys who are teams that you didn't mention who have good running backs. But if you look at the teams that you mentioned, the Chiefs, I know they only have Kareem Hunt, but they've got Isaiah Pacheco as well.
Coming eventually, yeah.
The Packers have Josh Jacobs, very effective. The Lions have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. The Vikings have Aaron Jones, who's found a second wind of life. Jalen Hurts has Saquon Barkley, who might very well has a case, I think, for the MVP at this rate because of what he did the other night.
Legitimate case, yeah.
But it's interesting how when you look at the units and the teams, they've also got solid, tight end play. Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Tucker Kraft for the Packers, TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings. Like, every single unit, it makes sense why these are the teams that would be Super Bowl contenders. Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. The Packers have a solid defensive crew. The Chiefs have Spags. You run down the line of what makes the teams top 10 and top 9 in their respective units, and it makes sense because of the star power that they have on both sides of the football.
From the text line, from the 816, Jalen Watson's injury in Week 5 correlates directly to Chris Jones and the rest of the D-line in their inability to get sacks. Maybe.
That's kind of what we talked about yesterday.
I will say it's less related, and we'll get to the defensive line here in a little bit. I think that matters less for Chris Jones, who doesn't have a sack in 7 consecutive weeks, and I can't deny that. But I think the rest of the defensive line is more of a coverage sack unit than the rest. I just think that these are the only real Super Bowl contenders. I know that I'm supposed to include Baltimore, or maybe I'm supposed to include like Miami or something if I just factor in what they've been since Tua's come back or whatever. But like, the truth is, these are the teams who have consistently over the course of 2/3 of the season been the best teams in the league. Like, I mean, what's the worst team on there? A 3-loss? What do the Packers have? 3 losses? Bills have 2. Eagles have 2. Vikings have 2 or 3. Lions have 1. Chiefs have 1. I don't think it's an accident that the teams who are the best at offense and defense are the teams that have regularly done it. And the Chiefs fell just outside this range last year, I'll say. The Chiefs were like the 12th best offense in the league. And like, I think there is, like, somebody would say, can't you make an exception for someone who is the best at something? Let's say the Ravens. Maybe you think the Ravens have the best offense in the NFL. Can't they counteract?
No.
To a point, maybe. But that's why I said top 10, right? The 10th best defense. Everyone thinks the Chiefs defense is playing like garbage. Well, it's still top 10 defense right now. Even over the last 3 weeks, they're probably like the 15th worst or the 15th best, right? Because lots of teams give up points. But there's a limit for what you can cover. And the 2018 Chiefs taught us that at the very least.
Well, yeah, because the question isn't, can you win a playoff game or can you get to the AFC title game?
Can you win the Super Bowl?
It's can you win the Super Bowl? And I don't think, because what are they, bottom 10 on defense?
In points per game?
The Ravens are.
They gotta be.
Because I know yardage-wise, they are atrocious.
Can't stop the run or the pass.
And in the pass in particular.
23rd.
So you look at
24.5 points per game. They're 23rd.
So you mentioned the Chiefs' offense last year was 12th. They won the Super Bowl, but that's because the defense was so good. They were the best defense in the NFL. So you're talking about a second unit and a 12th unit. Yeah. This is a first unit and a 23rd unit. And as good as Lamar Jackson is, when you go up against a good defense, you need your defense to show up. And they haven't shown up at all in those sort of games. So I just think that it's a battle that's going to be too hard for them to win because of the defense and the liabilities that they have compared to if it were maybe the Chargers. The Chargers might have a better shot at it because of the defense.
Keep a game close, that kind of thing, although they got torched last night.
Correct. Or maybe dare I say, the Steelers, where Russell Wilson actually, has a really good game and the defense is so freaking good for Pittsburgh. They find a way to keep it ugly and close. those might be I guess the one exception to the rule, Cody, of all the teams that, just thinking of them, I could see maybe the 49ers and maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers being the only exceptions to maybe they actually
better
could
start playing a lot better, though, in a hurry.
Yeah, the Niners might not make it at all, period. But just in terms of star power, in terms of what they can do, I think the Steelers might be the only exception to the rule that you have in this.
I will say this is easily, though, like I just mentioned, that I think it's just the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC. I'm saying that the day after the Ravens beat the hell out of another decent team, right? The Chargers are a good NFL team. This is the one thing that absolutely floors me about Buffalo. I have now gone back every single year that Josh Allen has been the starter in. So I've gone all the way back to 2020, right? So like every year that Josh Allen is the starter for the Buffalo Bills, that entire run, Buffalo has ranked in the top 10 for offense and defense every year. How the hell have they not won more? It's just like there's something fundamentally wrong about what they're doing, and I can't put my faith. Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's, and I'd love to say it's Josh Allen in the postseason. Can't really be that, right? Because it's not like he's played bad football games in the postseason. I don't know what it is, but they're like one leg short constantly. But it's also why to take them serious. Meanwhile, this Friday, the Chiefs have the Raiders on the Black Friday game on Friday. It'll be on local TV, by the way, for those who live in the Kansas City area. If not, you just watch it on Prime like the rest of society. I know yesterday I had briefly said that I was not going to predict a blowout again for the rest of the season for the Chiefs. They'll save it for the Super Bowl or something. It'd be the funniest time to blow a team out. Like after not doing it the entire year. But I will make one thing very clear about the expectations for this Friday's game. Last week, my whole thing was kick their ass. They're a bad team. This is also a terrible team. Right now, the Raiders are picking second in the NFL draft. If the draft started today, they'd be the second overall pick. They stink. They're as bad as the Panthers. Maybe worse. Because at least the Panthers have a former number one overall pick in Bryce Young who can make a throw. The Raiders are starting Aiden O'Connell this weekend, according to Tom Pelissaro. And I know he beat him last year. There is no excuse, if you're the Chiefs, in having back-to-back disappointing games against two teams that are this terrible. If you needed the wake-up call, you got it. If you needed evidence that a bad team can hang with you, you got it. Am I saying they have to beat this team by 4 touchdowns? No, not necessarily. But I am telling you that despite that, they can't let them come back in the game. If you're up 11 in the fourth quarter, just keep it 11. Do not let back-to-back disappointing performances happen against an absolutely miserable set of opponents. So behind the scenes, look, Drew, yesterday, they do these like, I don't honest to God know what it'll look like. But I think NFL Films was in recording the first half hour of the show. I think they used the footage for pregame or something for the Amazon Prime broadcast. So I guess keep an eye out for 96.5 The Fan.
Yeah.
First person to send it to me can get a Cody and Gold shirt.
You're going to be hyping up the Chiefs on Prime?
I guess. Yeah. But so, like, we get done recording the first 30 minutes of the show. And, like, right before we're going on, he was like, let's look at it like this. And he's like, he had said something. He's like, one thing, we wouldn't hate, right? A little directorial option. One thing we wouldn't hate is you talking about the Chiefs' domination over this franchise over the course of the time. And how one of these teams is a Super Bowl contender and the other one's a loser. He didn't say loser, but he might as well have said loser, Drew. He's like, one of these teams is heading nowhere and is a laughingstock. That was essentially the direction I was given yesterday before the show.
Everybody's anti-Raiders here as soon as they step in the city, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And I get it. Someone's going to be like, didn't Aiden O'Connell carve them up? In the first half, he kind of did. Right? And I'm sorry, the game is on, is the game on Netflix this Friday?
No, it's on Prime.
Okay.
That's why Ryan Fitzpatrick is joining the show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick is joining the show. The Christmas game, I believe, is on Netflix. Yes. The text line confused me.
Yes.
But so, he pretty much said, sort of saying, like, hey, if you don't mind slipping in a line about how this one team is lost and useless and a broken franchise with no hope, that'd be great. Like, those weren't his exact words, to be clear. But that guy might as well have said, an NFL employee might as well have said, can you make fun of this franchise? Aiden, I know they lost the game last year, in which Aiden O'Connell, and I don't want to be reminded of this, completed a single pass in the second half of a football game in which they lost. It was the first time I had felt that way after a football game since Tim Tebow once beat this team in the playoffs, having completed 2 passes in the whole game. It's an embarrassing way to lose. I can wash last year's game away, though, because they went on to win the Super Bowl. You cannot have back-to-back bad performances against a team this bad. Like, there is a point in which you have to stop yourself from doing this stuff. Once again, by the way, the text line is commenting on your overdressed. I can't believe how many layers you're wearing.
Yeah, I thought about that. As soon as I looked at the stream, and I was like, dang, I'm wearing a hoodie today with a jacket. I got a vest on underneath. It's cold outside, all right? And I know that it's not cold in here, but I'm comfortable. I like feeling comfortable, and I'm comfortable right now, so it's okay. I'm not sick, I promise. I feel good.
You don't want to try to get everyone sick before the holidays. This is like a quick courtesy announcement. You're like hacking up a lung. I know your boss is going to think you're making it up because it's before the holiday. You're hacking up a lung today? Work from home.
Please.
Don't get everyone sick before the holiday. What good does that do? What, because you're a tough guy? No, just call in sick. Or work from home, put in some hours, whatever. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm not hacking up a lung or hawking up a lung, whatever you want to call it.
That's all.
I'm not coughing, I don't have a sniffle or anything like that. We're good. Knock on wood, because now that I said this over the weekend, I'm going to be feeling some type of way.
Coming up in 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you a question about this year's team versus last year's team that I need an answer on from everyone. But let's quickly talk about the Ravens-Chargers game last night, in which I think 2 things were abundantly clear. One, the Chargers are a year too early. They have succeeded above expectation, and I would say overperformed above what they should, because for the first time maybe in the Chargers' history, I don't know, they are actually have a good person in charge. They have a good head coach. And it sucks. I don't like that as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I hate to admit that a little bit. But the reason why they are a competent franchise this year is not because they have a lot of talent. It is because they are well coached. Last night, they lost because they have way less talent than the Ravens. Plain and simple. They are less talented than them across the board. They have worse wide receivers, worse running backs, currently worse quarterback play, a worse defense. And maybe not a worse defense because the Ravens, but across the board, they are less talented than the Ravens. That's why they lost last night. But they are a competent team for the first time ever, in which they do a lot of things right because of Harbaugh. The other part is, I can't figure out the Ravens for the life of me, because on offense, it seems like you shouldn't be able to stop them. But the bad news is for the Baltimore Ravens is their offense is at its best when Derrick Henry is at its best. And just real quick, as a reminder for the people who don't believe in the Chiefs, at least defensively, what is the one thing, Drew, that they still do great?
They are very, very good against the run. Very good.
Fantastic against the run. And so if you eliminate Derrick Henry, because last night, that's why I thought they looked great on offense. Derrick Henry was averaging 8 yards a carry. They had to stack the box to prevent that, and it opened up the world for Lamar Jackson. It made their job easy. When Derrick Henry goes, the Ravens can essentially score at will. But when they only scored 20 in the opening game of the regular season, part of the reason they were only capable of doing that is Derrick Henry didn't have a good game. He only ran for 50 yards, and as a result of that, the Chiefs limited the Ravens' offense to another point. I didn't take the Ravens any more seriously for that. All I took away from that is the Chargers are a year too early.
Well, that was why I, a couple weeks ago, said if the Ravens played the Chiefs again, the Chiefs would win by 10 points. Because the one thing that the Ravens, to your point, Cody, what you just said, what they need to have going well for them to be as successful and for that engine to go, they need Derrick Henry. The Chiefs are the one team that is so stout defensively on the line against the run. They're going to force Lamar to have to pass.
And he's been way better.
Look, he has been
undersold part of the NFL storyline this year. He has developed significantly as a passer.
He's in the MVP running because he has been such a good passer. But I think but to beat that team, you have to be able to limit Derrick Henry, and the Chiefs are the one team that can do that very, very, very well, regardless of how good Lamar Jackson is. And we saw it, in week 1. I think we would see it again if they end up playing. It's hard to because I think you bring up a good point. It's not even about the defense. It's about the success of Derrick Henry solely being he's like the engine.
Yeah.
And if he's not performing well, the car might still look good. Like Lamar Jackson still might be able to make some flashy plays and still be able to.
Yeah, man. That hezzy on the touchdown run.
Oh,
get out of here.
Lamar will be able to do his thing, but it's not going to be as effective of a machine when Derrick Henry's not running the ball for 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, more than that.
Someone from the 816. We eliminated Henry, but Lamar did torch us for 100 yards. I'm like, you know what, though? In a funny way?
You won the game.
I know, but also, like, that means they're out of their offense this year.
Yes.
Like, under normal circumstances, that's how they functioned. It was around Lamar in the running game. That's actually not how they function this year. They are at their best when Lamar is throwing. We actually took them out of their normal game plan, and that became like a scramble drill for Lamar rather than what they have worked as so well. They like getting the ball to their tight ends. They like getting the ball to Zay Flowers. They like throwing it this year. They are much better at throwing it this year. I just felt like that didn't move the needle for me last night, other than Lamar Jackson is probably going to win the MVP, even though it probably should be Saquon. Yeah, I think so. They always give it to tight ends, man.
Not Josh Allen?
He'll win Offensive Player of the Year.
I think it's those three. I think it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and then Saquon's entered his name into the chat.
I mean, it's definitely not. It's let's see what the odds.
Josh Allen's he's been really, really good as well.
Right now, the favorite, in fairness, is Josh Allen because Lamar Jackson had a bad couple of weeks and Josh Allen didn't. Plus 150, depending on the book, for Josh Allen. Plus 250 for Lamar Jackson. Plus 400 for Saquon Barkley. Plus 600 for Jared Goff. They're telling you it's a four-person race with Patrick Mahomes behind them at plus 1,400.
No offense to Jared Goff. No offense to him because it's not his fault. They won a game where he had 83 passing yards.
Yeah.
To me,
they scored like 50 in that game, too.
I know.
It's crazy.
Not to say that he should be eliminated from it just because of that, but I think in terms of like MVP, most valuable player, they won a game when they scored 50 points when he threw for 83 yards.
I think right now it should be a three-horse race. And I think it probably realistically is Lamar, Josh Allen, and Saquon Barkley. When we come back, there's a question from this year's team. I want to compare it to last year's team, and I need an answer from you. Plus, the College Football Playoff Committee puts out their rankings tonight. They're going to blow it.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Gates Barbecue's most iconic flavors will make your holiday meals unforgettable this year. Spice up your holiday get-togethers with Gates sauces and seasonings made with fresh ingredients and gluten-free. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates sauces and seasonings. And while watching a game or your favorite holiday movie, sprinkle Gates seasoning on a fresh pop bowl of popcorn. Your taste buds will thank you. Buy Gates now. Available at your local grocer or online at gatesbarbecue.com. We do it the old-fashioned way.
This football season, the best place to watch the game is Johnny's Tavern. Tons of TVs, tons of fans, and cold Yingling beer. You could win big. Scan the QR code at any Johnny's Tavern to enter for a chance to win a tailgate prize pack and the grand prize. All thanks to you, Yingling. Win a hosted party at the Johnny's Tavern of your choice. Each location will have a winner, so don't miss out. Grab your friends, grab a Yingling, and get in on the action. Only at Johnny's Tavern, in partnership with 96.5 The Fan, your home for football, fun, and Yingling. Must be 21 plus to enter.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with Ryan Manning of Manning Roofing. We all know when a storm comes through, there may be a knock at your door with somebody trying to repair your roof.
Inexperienced guys will be out and getting homeowners to open up claims. A lot of the times they don't show up for those adjustments. Photo takers might not document everything, and when the file examiner takes a look at it, it ends up in a denied claim or a partial. Give us a call. We'll go from there.
Do what we did and set up your appointment today at manninggc.com or 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
Guys, it's finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list. What? Santa has a list too, you know. And he's a huge salted caramel frosty fan. Probably why he's so jolly all the time. The iconic frosty with a salted caramel twist? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Salted caramel frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung. Ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Harbor Freight knows tool people like to keep busy. But with our Black Friday sale coming up Thanksgiving weekend, you'll want to free up some time. We're talking deals like our 5,000-watt generators under $800, 17-foot ladders for $99.99, and 40% off Icon Pro socket sets. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 12/2/24. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
At Progressive, we know there's a lot of things you can track. Steps, calories, heart rate, your pet steps, screen time, the whereabouts of your favorite celebrity, how long you slept, how long you didn't sleep, how long you thought about sleeping, how long you thought about sleeping. But none of these things could save you money. Unlike Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate based on how and how much you drive. It's much better for your bottom line than tracking your Cocker Spaniel's resting heart rate. So download the Progressive app today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. 96.5 The Fan. Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon with you. Joshua Brisco will join us in the noon hour for a couple of hours. Be my co-host for a little bit of time. Till then, it's just me and you, Drew. My final day of the week. You and Mac are taking care of the show tomorrow.
That's right.
So a little after hours, but in the middle of the day.
Yeah, we're going to have the fan club as well.
Okay.
Get you ready for your Thanksgiving. Well, we might preview some of the games on, of course, the dud matchup of the Giants and Cowboys. Maybe we'll skip over that one, but
yeah. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
That we're going to discuss as well.
Okay.
I'm sure.
That's usually on the docket for a Thanksgiving week show.
There's a number of them that I like. It's hard for me to pick. There is a favorite, but you got to have the green bean casserole is very good. Mashed potatoes, love me some mashed potatoes. Mac and cheese, corn pudding. I don't know if you've had corn pudding before.
No, don't know what that is.
Oh, you got to make it.
I gotta make it?
Yeah, you gotta make it. Not like this year, but
I probably had something like it. I've had something like this. I just don't think it's called that.
Like corn casserole, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was called.
If you want to call it corn casserole, fine. But it's very, very good. My wife, ironically, knocked it. She was like, she'd make fun of me if I said corn pudding. She's like, no.
You guys are from the same part of the country.
I know, but she would like, you're not corn pudding. What is this? What is this? She had it. Don't knock it till you tried it. Perfect example. She loves it.
Coming up in 8 minutes, we're going to get to the College Football Playoff Committee, who will put out their rankings later tonight, and how I'm terrified they're going to blow it in favor of the big boys, just like every other sport who favors the big programs instead of the ones who actually earned it. But I have a simple question, because I think for the teams or for the people who are like, I'm worried this year will not end in the Super Bowl for the Chiefs, which is a reasonable concern. That is certainly not what I'm saying. But I have a very simple question, because the answer on the other side is obvious. If I asked you, was last year's team defense better or worse between this year's? You'd be like, okay, last year's defense was way better. It never even struggled. It was the number one defense pretty much the entire year in the NFL. It was at least a top 5 defense the entire time. Hell, it carried this team to 11 wins last year. Last year's defense was better. Right now, pre-Pacheco, pre-Hollywood Brown, because those are still unknowns. Hell, pre-Humphreys, for that matter, at left tackle, because we don't know when he'll get on the football field. You saw, they did see a jersey in a locker for him from a photo last night. Is this year's offense better or worse than last year's offense? 913-586-7965. I thought long and hard about this because I was trying to decide. Because I thought, well, they had Rashee Rice last year, which was a hard thing to shake for a minute, because Rashee Rice and what he ended up being by the end of the year was something pretty remarkable, right? He got a long way in his rookie debut. This time of year, 12 weeks into the season, he was like a 450-yard receiver. So, like, I can count on improvement from Xavier Worthy, or I can count on those things to do it. I think this is a better offense. I think they are more in line with who they are, even without Isaiah Pacheco. The yards per game are down. The points per game are comparable, a little bit worse last year. Mahomes' interception rate is up a little bit from last year. His touchdown rate is down a little bit from last year. Completion percentage up, yardage is up. So, like, some of the things that you would be in there just from, like, his perspective are there. What I boiled this down to, Kelsey's a wash. They're worse at running back because Kareem Hunt versus Pacheco. But I think that Kareem Hunt has done 90% of the job, and they'll get that remaining 10% when Pacheco returns. So I'll call that mostly a wash. At wide receiver, even though I think Rashee Rice at this age, at this time, at his peak, especially because of what we saw at the beginning part of the season, man, would they be better with him, right? DeAndre Hopkins, he's there. He's like at that level. Maybe he's a little behind what Rashee Rice would have turned into this year, which seemed like it was barreling towards a 1,100, 1,200, 13-yard receiver, 1,300-yard receiver maybe. But I still think DeAndre Hopkins fit that mold. And honestly, they've got a more defined role with McColl, who they didn't have for half of the season last year. Xavier Worthy is a good option, at least for the offense in some capacity. And the offensive line is the same. But I just think they're more in line with who they are this year than last year. I don't think there's a considerable difference, but I do think this year's offense is better. What's important, I think, the rest of the way is, in order to make up the gapping for how far they've fallen defensively, which is essentially the best offense or best defense in the league to the 10th best defenses, I need them by the end of this season to be like the 5th or 6th best offense. And I don't think they can do that without Isaiah Pacheco and without Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that they're better. I don't know if we get in terms of making up the differences, the potential for that comes in the playoffs or comes here in the next couple weeks, few weeks, whatever the case is, when Isaiah Pacheco and Hollywood Brown do in fact come back.
That'll be the best
to your
test.
point. Yeah, because even now they are better because obviously you don't have the drop problem. As crazy as it sounds, the offense is better than they were last year.
They also have a much higher ceiling, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's where, the difference of, hey, the defense is backtracking a little bit off of last year. They've looked shaky. Can the offense make up that? The potential of adding Isaiah Pacheco back into the lineup, Hollywood Brown being back into the lineup, well, actually in the lineup, period, in a big-time game, in a game that matters, that's where the potential can be hit. Because you mentioned, even without them, they've been a top 10 offense. Mm-hmm. Think of what it's like when you add a bona fide number two.
They didn't have DeAndre Hopkins for a portion of that.
They add a bona fide number 2 wide receiver in Hollywood Brown, a bona fide guy. It's not like maybe he can do. Hollywood Brown is a bona fide number 2. Isaiah Pacheco is your bona fide number 1 running back. He's one of the better running backs in the league, in my opinion, one of the most underrated ones. The potential for your offense to get to that point where they're making up the margins is there. If they say they didn't have Hollywood Brown back and they didn't have Isaiah Pacheco back,
yeah,
what is your confidence level of them winning the Super Bowl?
I don't know. The same as, it's definitely worse without both of those players, right? Obviously, I am given, but it's the NFL, so 5, 7, 8%, 9, 10% chance better. It's not crazy, but it's 5 to 10% range, probably better.
So that's the margin that you think in terms of you being really comfortable.
Yeah,
you need like a 5 to 6% upkick in terms of production, the way the offense looks, the long ball, the way the production is. If the offense can hum a little bit more with those guys, then it gives you more confidence.
So for the text line, someone said they're better, right? They said having Xavier Worthy and D-Hop is better than having Rice alone, which dead serious was all they had. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the whole moniker. That was the entire thing there for a while. It was just them and no one else. Someone says it feels like it's the same because the tackle play feels the same to me. They're being sacked more this year than last year. But I'll say, in a lot of, and this is nerdy, and I know sometimes you want to get, in a lot of advanced metrics, they are far better at moving the ball this year. And so, they're better at getting first downs. And so, that to me is a sign of an offense that is better at functioning. They do a better job moving the ball consistently. They're only scoring, I think it's 3 points more per game this year. And that's not in a course of a season, that's not a small margin. Now, is it still 5 points worse than they were scoring at their peak powers? Yeah, it is. I'm not saying is this offense better in 2019. I don't want to even have that argument. But I think if you look at the complexities of the offense, they are very well balanced. The offensive line is not playing well enough, but I would encourage you to watch the offensive line play in the rest of the league and understand that the Chiefs are not alone in this problem. Hey, Drew, how's Cincinnati's offensive line? Pretty bad, right? How
they haven't been great.
How was the Chargers' offensive line last night? Not great, right? There are plenty of bad offensive lines in the NFL, but they're no different than last year. They have a good rushing attack. They're good at getting yards. They're good at getting first downs. They're good at getting in the red zone. Lately, they've been better in the red zone. They are a better red zone scoring team from a touchdown percentage perspective than they were last year. All of those things point to me to a team that knows more what they're doing. And truth is, if I'm comparing side by side, neither of these teams could get the ball deep. So if my complaint this year is they've got no deep passing game because they're 26th in the NFL in explosive plays, well, yeah, tale as old as time, no offense. That's exactly as last year's offense was. And Kansas City right now ranks 16th in the NFL in red zone scoring percentage. They're getting the ball in the end zone on a touchdown about 58% of the time. Last year was only 51% of the time. And that was with a pretty horrid start for the offense this year, too.
I was going to say, still not where you want it to be, but it is better. I think because in your point to the red zone, also the third down stuff. Like, I think those are the two things where they've been the cream of the crop in terms of third down conversion.
Third down conversion rate and third and long.
Yeah, they have been unbelievably good.
Yeah. You know that Patrick Mahomes, this is a great stat from Ben Baldwin, who does some analytics-based stuff. He put the stat, technically based on value, like efficiency, Patrick Mahomes running has added more expected points to the Chiefs offense than Lamar Jackson's running has added for Baltimore's. Like, I want you to think, like, I'm dead serious. His value in running the ball for his team has added more expected points than Lamar Jackson's. Because when Mahomes runs, he needs to, and when he runs, it's on third down. It's not designed. It's not on purpose.
Extending drives.
It's just when the pass isn't open and they need 8 yards, Mahomes gets it. And at some point in his career, maybe they'll send a spy, and they'll really, really, really regret it because then Mahomes will probably burn him in the passing game. But, I mean, that's it. And someone talking about the offense, this is a good point from the 816. What about Noah Gray's elevation in play? He is definitely a better player as well as he was last year. Someone also said, this year, at least I'm comfortable they can convert a third and short. Do you remember how long last year we spent about this team's inability to get 6 inches on third and fourth down? They are better at that.
Yeah.
They are better than that. If we asked as a team, we probably get a different answer from the text line. If I say this year's team, are they better or worse? I think most of you are going to say worse. I ask about the offense because I think that can be inevitably what covers the gap between the two. I think they've been better than last year's offense. And I'm saying that not knowing how much better they'll be, depending on when Isaiah Pacheco and Hollywood Brown get back. The text line asked real quick. They said, when should we expect Hollywood Brown back? Last I heard, the target date would be around the 21st of December for Hollywood Brown. As a reminder, his practice window hasn't even been opened yet. So, it's not even the 21-day to return plan yet. They haven't even opened his practice window.
That is what you're saying.
I think it's going to be a month.
So
I could be off here, but I think it's going to be a month.
An early Christmas gift could be December 1st. The window's been open, by the way.
Well, they play on Christmas Day, Wouldn't that be a nice coming out party for Hollywood Brown? Return to the offense. Last year, Christmas was ruined by a wretched performance by the Chiefs on Christmas Day. Maybe this year can be the opposite. That's all.
I keep on forgetting that game was on Christmas, too.
Yeah, it was. On top of it, it was on Christmas.
Yeah.
My family was all sitting around at some point ugh. Well, I guess let's get to some other stuff because this isn't going to work. College football playoff rankings come out this weekend. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get to the schedule that's getting ready to come around, and this Friday is kind of the beginning of that. But it was a massive upset weekend for the College Football Playoff Committee, which makes this the most interesting college football playoff ranking yet. One, we're closer to the end of the season, right?
Final week of the season coming up this weekend in terms of the regular season.
And Alabama lost again. Indiana, if Indiana had played it closer, we're probably having a different conversation, but they got run by Ohio State. I think they're going to blow this. Here's two things that I think
you think they're going to kick them out?
Here are two things I think should happen. As part of the College Football Playoff Committee's final rankings that I think might be right tonight, decidedly won't be right by the time it's done. The first mistake they're going to make is giving Arizona State a projected home football game. I know Brett Yormark did what he's supposed to do, and he spoke publicly and said, there's no standing in league history that supports the Big 12 champion shouldn't have one of these 4 byes. Dude, it's the first year. What do you mean there's no history to support? They don't deserve a... Boise State has been the better team. Boise State should get a home game. I don't think they're going to get it. I think Arizona State's going to get it. I think the projections might show tonight Arizona State's the leader to get it. And unless another upset happens in the Big 12 over the last couple weeks, which is certainly possible, I think they're going to blow it. The second thing I'm fearful of is by the time this thing all shakes out, we think it's going to make sense. And they're going to have Indiana in the college football play, and they're going to screw it up, dude. They're going to put in Alabama. They're going to put one of these other loser 3-loss SEC teams.
You don't trust them.
Don't deserve it. Because the history of this sport suggests they will choose the name on the jersey instead of this. And we pretend like it's not because of TV deals, but it is.
I think it's very valid. I do think your point about I think they will keep Boise State ahead, actually, of Arizona State.
In the rankings? Okay.
But I will say this. Are we sure that Boise State is actually as good as... Are we sure that... I know that Genty is a great story, but are we sure that they're actually the best group of 5 team? I wish that they would do this. They obviously don't this year.
Two group of 5s?
Well, no. I want to have 2 group of 5s play for that spot. Give me a play-in. Give me a play-in because it's not hard on it's not that hard on the committee. You take the 2 highest ranked group of 5 teams who are conference champions, they play each other for the spot. So it'd be Boise State and Tulane or Boise State and Army who would play for that group of 5 spot. I think that would be fun, but neither here nor there. Because Arizona State was 21. Do they jump Boise State, who has looked shaky? Maybe they do. Arizona State also tried to throw that game away late. I don't know if you watched that, Cody, on Saturday. That was that was a horrendous.
I saw.
If Arizona State didn't deserve to win the game, they did though. But I think you're in. I think that because of what you mentioned though, Alabama lost to Oklahoma, who Missouri, by the way, beat with Drew Pine at quarterback. Let me remind you, Alabama scored 3 points in that game. They didn't even get a touchdown. Jalen Monroe stunk. I think the way that they lost,
Not just losing, the way that they lost.
The way that they lost, I think they are out. I think Ole Miss also losing to Florida. Florida's a much better. Florida and KU are the exact same. They are on a hot streak of beating ranked teams, even though they're not in the realm of those teams in terms of ranking, et cetera. Florida is now bowl eligible. KU can be this weekend. But I think IU's locked in now. I think you're going to get your wish of having Indiana in.
They should be in
the playoff. Because, one, I think they should be also with the name brands. Like, you can't. I know that Indiana have one loss, and it's to Ohio State, and they've blown everybody else out. But Alabama, losing to Oklahoma the way they did, also, Texas. This is the ultimate argument, Cody, that you have if anybody wants to come at you about, well, Indiana doesn't have a good resume. You know who Texas's best wins are this year?
No one. They'd be nobody.
Texas's best wins this year are Vanderbilt and Arkansas.
But they're in.
No,
they're in the SEC.
I understand.
So we just give them this little layup of whatever, and they've done it with 2 different quarterbacks and all this other nonsense. But here's the thing with Texas, and I'll give them credit for. I would like college football to care more about wins and losses. I still think them leaving out Florida State last year is an atrocity. A Power 5 team at the time, now Power 4, a Power 4 team had an undefeated season. They deserved, Drew. They had earned the right to play in the college football playoff. I don't care if it was to get their teeth in by 60. They had earned the right for that spot. Indiana, this might be the only time they make the college football playoff in 20 years. They have earned the right to be in it. They have lost a singular game to the team currently ranked 2nd in the country.
I understand.
And they play in the 2nd best college football conference. And I still think they're going to screw it up. I'm convinced they'll screw it up. I just never trust the college football playoff committee. They can't help themselves when it comes to the SEC.
It's because they need to figure out what they prioritize the most. Like if they go into, and maybe this is why, you know what, we just factor it all into a computer. Pick the 12.
I want to go back to the BCS. I told you.
Put all the information into the computer. Here's strength of schedule. Here's all of it. It's all balanced. I do think, though, the eye test, and they don't even factor it in, because I think we are better off doing the computer because they don't factor in the eye test, Cody, where if you look at who Penn State has played, if you look at the resume that Texas has and you watch them play, they're not worthy of being in the spots that they're in, either of them.
It's like they're dinging Indiana more because they ended up playing a weak Big Ten schedule.
It's not their fault.
Because that happens sometimes, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you play a weak 10, but nobody's mentioning that Texas has played a weak SEC schedule.
Yeah.
Does that not, they play in the SEC, but they haven't played the SEC. Does that make sense?
And then winning against Michigan doesn't matter.
They didn't play any of the teams in the SEC that you would expect to make, right?
Yes.
They didn't play Tennessee. They didn't play Georgia. They didn't play.
They beat
their best win is Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they beat Michigan, and that's not one of their best wins. That's all you need to know about Michigan. It was supposed to be a good win. It's not. It's not a high caliber win. I mean, maybe you include Michigan in there, but Michigan's 5-5 right now, or whatever the heck they are, 5-6. I don't remember. But their resume's not where. If you say this team is one of the best, plus also this is the thing, Cody, that's really interesting now. You know who just had an MRI the other day? Quinn Ewers. If Quinn Ewers is out for the season, hang with me.
Kick him out of the thing.
Hang on. Hang with me. Last year, what happened to Florida State? They played games. This is the thing. If Quinn Ewers is out and they started Arch Manning, they'll have won maybe 2 games with Arch Manning as a starting quarterback. But so he's not the starter. Florida State won games with Tate Rodemaker as the starter, and they were kicked out. Are we?
And now they're judging. Now, but we know what a good backup quarterback is. I'm like, it's nonsense.
Yeah, correct.
The rules should be the same. Kick Texas's ass out. They got a backup. See you later, Texas. Or don't give them a home game. They're not good enough. They're like the 12th best team now.
It would be very funny to see them. It would be very funny to see them get in as it would be ranked as the same. If they won with Arch Manning as quarterback.
Here's the argument. Here's the argument is that, the rules should be the same. If they have their backup quarterback, they are now deemed worse.
I agree.
Than the team with their starting quarterback. So they're not the 3rd best team in the country or whatever the hell they're ranked now. They're the 10th best, 11th best team in the country. And you don't get the home site playoff game. You got to go on the road like everyone else. But we're not going to do that because his name is Arch Manning and it's Texas. And that's always the issue I have, is that they just seem to make up the rules as they go. And this whole time we spent time complaining about the BCS, it was legitimately the better system. It evaluated you based on your accolades, what you accomplished, not what you are now. And I just point out the same thing that would have existed. If that had existed in the NFL, we would cry foul. If the Chiefs, right, who have lost a ton of talent on offense, got a worse seed in the NFL playoffs because they're hurt, makes no sense. This is why it's better that it's 12. Then the Florida State would have been in the college football playoff last year, right?
Correct,
they wouldn't have been eliminated, had a chance to prove themselves. But by the same metric, well, then Texas should be lower in the college football playoff rankings. But of course, we know they won't.
Well, and the one game that Texas played, they got their butt kicked by Georgia. And Georgia's also been a little bit this year at times. I wonder, Cody, if there were 4 teams, real quick before we go to break, somebody, I think it was Ari Wasserman at On 3, proposed this question. If it was the 4-team playoff, are we sure that the SEC wouldn't get left out? If there were 4 teams in the college football playoff, are we sure that the SEC...
Leave the SEC out.
I know, but if you wanted to pick the 4 best teams in the country, Oregon and Ohio State are in there, obviously, because I think they're far and above better than anybody else.
Yeah.
But Texas is at 3. I mean, who do you put in? Because if Texas lose in the SEC title game again to Georgia, Georgia probably gets in.
Yep.
Maybe, but...
Yeah, probably. And then they just throw in Arizona State because of the Big 12 champion. They're easy to predict when it's 4.
Yeah, right.
When we come back, the Chiefs' defense has not been good at all, specifically in the pass rush. But why is it this bad? I'm going to explain that next.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
It's gravy all weekend with FanDuel, which means you're getting a feast of rewards all weekend long. Right now, all customers get a no-sweat same-game parlay to celebrate the occasion. All you need to do is place a 3-leg same-game parlay, and you'll get bonus bets back if your bet doesn't win. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payout. So create your own same-game parlay. Choose from one of the popular pre-built models right there on the app. What are you waiting for? Start your feast right now with a no-sweat same-game parlay on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. All you need to do is use my promo code KFNZ. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Max wager $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Art Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com.
At Main Street Credit Union, your success is our goal. Whether you're a financial rookie or a pro, we're here to help. If you're looking to pay down debt, improve your credit score, or buy a car, we'll be right there with you. We're dedicated to providing guidance, education, and essential resources to empower you on your journey toward financial success. We'll help you understand your financial options so even financial rookies will be on their way to reaching their goals. Go to mainstreetcu.org for more information.
Spend more time with the family and less time in the kitchen this holiday with a little help from Hy-Vee. You'll find heat and serve meal packs for any size gathering with proud favorites like succulent turkey, honey glazed spiral ham or prime rib, plus savory sides and rolls. Choose from pumpkin, apple, or French silk pie and more. And in honor of our dedicated employees, all Hy-Vee stores will be closed Thanksgiving Day for time to celebrate with family and friends. This holiday, let us do the cooking while you get the credit. Only at Hy-Vee.
I love the customer service experience that I have every time I go to Hy-Vee. You know what else I love about Hy-Vee? I don't have to sacrifice quality and service to get low prices. Hy-Vee just dropped the price on thousands of items in every aisle in every department, both in-store and online. Hy-Vee even match prices with the nation's biggest discount stores. Get Pepsi and Coke 12-pack cans or 8-pack bottles, buy 2, get 2 free, and get a free turkey with the purchase of any Hormel whole boneless ham only at Hy-Vee.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny. And this is Shaw.
Shaw stands for skilled hands at work.
When he's not cutting grass, he's cutting hair.
So every person is different, from hair tight to head shape. And I feel like it's the same way in a yard.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
This Thanksgiving, Paramount Plus serves up a must-see NFL on CBS divisional matchup when Jared Goff and the high-flying Detroit Lions host top draft pick Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. It all kicks off Thursday at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL on CBS, streaming live on Paramount Plus.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find bourbons and Cabernets that you adore.
With curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Listen to the Chiefs and Raiders game on Friday with pregame starting at 11. Kickoff at 2 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. 96.5 The Fan. Might end up with an extra guest today, Drew. Coming up at 11:35, we've got former NFL quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Knew that one.
Coming up at 12:30, we have our Chiefs insider, Nate Taylor.
Okay.
As you know, Joshua Brisco is going to come in and co-host
3 for 3
from noon to 2. Our good friend Vinny Pasquantino is offering up potentially his NFL insider services later in the show.
I thought he was off this week.
Well, so he's in town. He had to get, as he told us last week, he had to get a plate removed from his thumb.
Yeah, that's right.
Must be bored at the hospital, man. I don't know. said he's down. So we got to work out a time. But like our NFL insider, it's a Tuesday.
All right.
Traditional time. He comes on the show. So we'll see. We'll be in a holding pattern, but he might be able to join us later in the show as well. So, but we at least got that somewhat sorted out, which is good. Brisco coming up in an hour. He'll join me for the final 2 hours of the show. And then we can talk more about it. I see the text line says, Arch Manning's better than Rodemaker. Come on. Okay. Not just like I agree with your assessment, but I want to be clear that we're letting 50 people decide. Let me just ask a question. Had Arch Manning never played a single snap for Texas, in which he's only played in 2 games against bad opponents, had he never played a snap for Texas, do you want to think about it? This is your school. Do you want 50 strangers in a room deciding which backup they think is better? Just real quick, do you think they all grinded the high school tape? No.
And it also doesn't
making
matter.
a snap judgment, and it doesn't matter. He's the backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stupid way to decide it. You set the standard. Maybe Texas doesn't go from 3rd to 14th and is out of the thing, but maybe they should go from 3rd to 7th, 3rd to 8th if it is their backup quarterback. I don't understand if that was the standard set that it shouldn't remain that way.
Yeah, it is interesting when you look at the comparison of the two because Rodemaker they won games, like big games, with Tate Rodemaker. I know that it might have not looked great, but they won the games.
Correct.
If they would have won the games ugly with Jordan Travis, would it have been any different? Because
no. The committee's telling you no.
That's where I think because to me, if Jordan Travis wins, if he beats Louisville and it's 16-16, just like it was with Tate Rodemaker, and it's ugly and it's nasty, the conversation is way different because Jordan Travis is in there, quarterback. I think you could argue it should be the same with Arch Manning versus Quinn Ewers.
I agree. Look, they should at least be knocked some. They shouldn't just get to keep their spot with the backup quarterback.
Yeah, they haven't even looked that good anyways.
That wasn't the standard you had set before. All right, so I think there's an obvious thing about the Chiefs defense, and it's that the pass rush is bad. I know that we all know that. They rank 26th in sacks per game. Chris Jones hasn't had a sack in 7 weeks. Their leading sack guy through 11 games is George Karlaftis, who only has 4. So, like right now, as it sets, their 2 leading sack guys would finish the season with, let's do some quick math here. Probably should have done this before the segment. Let's just do some quick math here. Drew, George Karlaftis he's pacing for 6 sacks on the season, and Chris Jones is pacing for 4.5.
Forget Chris Jones. Do you remember what the conversation was before the season regarding George Karlaftis? Is can he elevate? Because what did he have, 13.5 last year?
Yes.
Can he elevate to be that 15 sack guy?
10.5. They both had 10.5.
Oh, okay.
Chris Jones and Karlaftis both had 10.5.
Can he get the 13 sacks? I think is what the number was or whatever. He's on pace to not even get half.
Yeah. So he's on pace to get 6.
Wow.
And Chris Jones is on pace to be 4.5. And those would be their 2 leading sack guys in the NFL. I guess what is most confusing to me about this is, why are they bad? Like, this is a thing that actually confounds me, and I will ask to Joshua Brisco, and I will ask this later to Nate Taylor, and maybe our NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino, if he's able to join us later. Why are they bad? It is the identical unit. Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, Turk Wharton, Felix Henudike-Uzama. It is the same players. How did they go from being second in the NFL in sacks last year, third in the NFL in sacks 3 years ago, to 26th when it is the identical players on the team? Right? I mean, help me understand. Because that is the thing where, like, maybe I talk myself into false hope, Drew, or some false narrative. I am convinced that the pass rush can be better. Convinced it can be better.
Well, because we saw it last year with the same crew. I know that we've talked about this a little bit yesterday, and going back to last year, the conversation, and we talked about it when we did yesterday, is the coverage sacks. You mentioned it earlier. The L'Jarius Sneed effect of not only is it Trent McDuffie, but it's L'Jarius Sneed. They're covering everybody better down the field. The Willie Gay effect, not having Willie Gay covering the tight ends. Like, all of it is, it's not one massive thing, I guess, Cody, but it's a couple of things that factor into what helped the pass rush maybe last year isn't helping it this year. And now we're seeing it get exposed a little bit more for what it is, where they just can't. They brought back all the same personnel, but maybe not that their talent was covered up or they're not as good, but
like just
what they are is more evident now because they don't have L'Jarius Sneed. They don't have Willie Gay. The coverage is not the same as what it was last year.
L'Jarius Sneed, like just one player? One player? One corner? Makes them from 3rd to 26th? That's crazy.
I think it's just the Willie Gates stuff too, where you have Nick Bolton trying to guard tight ends, and that's been a focal point of, hey, he struggled a little bit this year. The cornerback 2 spot, they've struggled this year in terms of moving the ball. The quarterback for the other team doesn't have to wait as long. Like, maybe the ball's just getting out quicker.
Is it? Yeah, maybe it's an adjustment. Maybe they're just throwing against the corners quicker.
That might also be what it is, because they don't want Chris Jones wrecking the game. They try to design the offense to get the ball out faster. I don't know.
From the 913, Chris Jones has slowed down. That's what they think the answer is. Chris Jones currently ranks top 10 in the NFL at pressure rate. So, like,
he's taking double teams on, man, all the time.
Sometimes triple.
Yeah.
So, like, I will say, like, from where we're, like, statistically, a lot of things support that Chris Jones is still kind of the same dude, except for he hasn't gotten the sacks this year, which is not unimportant. He is way overdue for a sack, dude. 7 weeks for Chris Jones. That's a chasm. That's a nightmarishly long time without a sack from him. But I'm just like, you understand what I'm saying. It doesn't actually make sense. Now, I'll say there's 2 things that stand out in this. One, Mike Dana hasn't been healthy. So for the first half of the season, I would say, he hasn't been healthy. So they're short a man. Last year, for the second half of the season, they had Charles Omenihu, who is not with the team yet. Hopefully maybe come back this week, next week, we'll see. Should be back soon. His practice one has been open. He's been playing. So, okay, there's that. So, like, but could those 2 players, could Mike Dana just being healthy and Charles Omenihu coming back be the difference between them going from 26th to 15th the rest of the way? And I'm not saying getting to 15th. Does that make sense? Just being the 15th best sack team the rest of the way. Because that realistically would solve, I'll be honest, a fair amount of their problems on defense as it sits right now. More sacks means less pressure on Najee Johnson, less pressure on Joshua Williams, and covers up a lot of these things. So if you think that those 2 guys can cover the difference, well then, yeah, we're good. Right? Then everything's fine. And so, like, that's really what makes the difference, I guess, in my end, is that if you do this, then you can probably cover, because it shouldn't fundamentally be this much worse, because Willie Gay and L'Jarius Sneed are gone. That doesn't, the pass rushers are the pass rushers. They were all pretty effective last year.
Yeah, but wasn't
why?
But wasn't one of the
Chris Jones would actually make sense.
I thought the conversation last year, though, was some of it. I remember, I don't remember who it was, but we had the conversation on the show of who's more responsible for the dominance of who's more responsible for the sacks. Is this defensive front just that good, and other offenses can't do anything, or is the coverage so good from Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius where they're locking guys down, where it's the quarterback's got to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, which in in turn allows for Chris Jones to get off of that double team, or allows for a breakdown in pressure, or allows for the quarterback to make a mistake and step up into the pocket into a sack, or one of those things. I don't know if it's necessarily one thing or if I'm trying to go through the process of trying to make sense of your question, because a lot of it, to your point, they brought back literally the exact
on
same
paper,
crew.
it's like makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to explain it out to be that way. I do wonder, though, as well, just the Charles Omenihu's impact. We know he's going to come back and he's going to be effective, and we know he's got the motivation. And somebody was asking about the recovery process. He tore his ACL, what was it, in January? It's 10 months in. Typically, that's a little bit longer, actually, now, in some cases, for an ACL recovery to even be fully ready to go. So I think he's going to be fine, but is it enough? How much of an impact do you think he can even have, Cody, is Charles Omenihu enough to get them to be 15th the rest of the way?
I mean, he can't be enough to do that. The other guys have to perform better, too.
Yeah.
But does he put enough pressure that Karlaftis' now job's easier, so he performs better, and that means Chris Jones' job's Like, can he be the domino? Like, but they were a good... I'll say this. Charles Omenihu missed the first 6 weeks last season.
He was a dog when he got in.
Yeah,
he was really
great. But they weren't a bad pass rush unit when he wasn't there.
No,
They were still a top 10 pass rush unit when he didn't exist. They were just like the best pass, like the second best pass rush unit when he came back. They weren't bad before Charles Omenihu was gone. Like, some of this is just like the math doesn't math. Like, there's no logical reason why this team had gone from second and third best pass rush unit to 26th with the same players.
Yeah, I do wonder if stylistically teams are learning how to attack the defense a little bit differently. I do think, in large part, the pass rush late in games, and maybe this is part of the reason why the defense hasn't been as good late in games, is they're not able to get home. Every now and like last year, we would see often if the defense made a play, it wasn't a forced turnover necessarily. It was pressure. It was a sack. It was a big play by somebody to get a sack, force a 4th and 15, 4th and 20, and they got off the field when they needed to most. Somebody from the 785 does mention and ask a valid question, is Josh Uche ever going to make a difference? Because coming in, like, his snap count isn't even high. He isn't even getting out there. And you can look at it.
And there doesn't seem like any loss here because it's not like they're getting pressure from someone else.
Well, I was going to say, and it's not like DeAndre Hopkins in his case where maybe he's still learning the playbook and all of those things. Uche's not able to get out there. Is there, like, what exactly is the reasoning behind that? Or they, I think that, and I know that you're not supposed to expect Joshua Uche to make like the ultimate difference or as much of a difference as Charles Omenihu, but it's supposed to help at least a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to, but like that, it honestly, it confuses me a little more than anything else. I'm just like, I don't even know what to make of it. This Friday, by the way, does begin the schedule nonsense. I am told, by the way, coming up in just a couple minutes, our NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino, will be joining us on the phone. So we're back-to-back guests. We're doing Vinny is our NFL insider. Then when Ryan Fitzpatrick, we're going to get you covered before Joshua Brisco shows up here at noon. But this Friday begins the nonsense, dude. Did you look at the schedule? They play on Friday, Black Friday. Then they play on a Sunday. All right, nice. Not bad. But then the following Sunday, they also play on Sunday, but that begins the 3 times in
here we go.
11-day stretch where they also play Saturday against the Texans and Wednesday on Christmas Day against the Steelers. Like, this is the beginning of the prepare yourself for the schedule nonsense the rest of the way.
Are you a little bit worried, given how the teams looked? Or are you more worried
I don't
now?
think an inconsistent schedule is going to be good for them at this particular time yet. I think it's at least worth one loss, if we're being honest.
Okay.
I think the weirdo schedule is going to cost them at least one. This goes back to the same thing, where the Chiefs do need Buffalo to lose or find losses. They don't play this weekend, but their next 3 games are against teams that historically could at least try and beat you. Brock Purdy's outlook is looking better. They just got their ass kicked, but they have a backup quarterback. The Rams are usually competitive, although they just got beat pretty bad by the Eagles. And then the Lions are the next 3 games for the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say a Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday didn't concern me.
Yeah.
You're going to get more games not on Sunday than on Sunday the next 5 weeks for Chiefs fans.
That's crazy. It just turns into, I guess there's more room for things to go wrong, where last year's team, I don't know, Cody. Somebody, I know you brought up the conversation we had last. Like, not that I'd feel more comfortable with last year's team, but maybe it's just given the way that the defense is played. I feel like there's a game in there where there's more that can go wrong, it feels like, with this team in that span, where not that there couldn't last year, but you felt more confident because the defense was so sound and so elite that even if something did go a little bit haywire, that the defense would be able to lock in and they would always be elite, you know?
I will say that this Friday helps the Chiefs more than it helps the other team, because the other team lost their starting quarterback on Sunday and now has to get Aiden O'Connell, who has been on the injured reserve list, up to speed by Friday. Drew, that's not nothing, right? That's not entirely unimportant, at least on this end. And so, yeah, they have a bigger challenge getting themselves ready for this week than others. And he knows how to handle a short week. And technically, he'll get a long week after this game before they take on, their next couple of opponents. But it's like, it's just the beginning of the schedule nonsense. When we looked ahead in the year, we knew the, Thursday night opener or some of these other ones that are kind of sprinkled in there. But it's been pretty static there for a little bit. And now we're getting ready to go to just nonsense. At least you get net rest over the Chargers as a result of playing this Friday.
That'll be nice.
You get a couple of extra days on your division opponent. I don't think that's going to hurt anything. And one of the short week games you're getting is against Cleveland. So, that's Sunday to Sunday. But, yeah, they're getting ready to play more times not on Sunday than on Sunday. So I guess just prepare accordingly is all I'm telling you.
Welcome to the NFL in 2024. Who'd have thought this 10 years ago?
Yeah. If you have a time slot and the Chiefs haven't played in it, then you're in a completely different ballpark.
What was the day that they haven't played yet? They played every day but what? Or have
Tuesday?
They? Have they?
I think they'll play every day but Tuesday. By the time the season's done, they haven't played Wednesday yet, but they'll play that on Christmas Day.
They have played on Tuesday before, though. They've theoretically...
They played the Bills on Tuesday in the middle of COVID.
Right, okay. They're the only team to have done that, obviously, because nobody else has done that.
Sorry, I was keeping an eye on the phone.
I am as well. We're now... Ever since you mentioned Vinny potentially joining the show, it's, the anticipation is building.
We like to make sure.
Yeah, you have to text him that. We're all anticipating.
We're all
Vinny.
Eagerly awaiting Vinny's arrival. I thought it was worth noting because at least it adds an extra challenge to it. The Aiden O'Connell thing. Anybody getting PTSD flashback from last year?
There's no way.
You can't? He's a bad quarterback, dude. He completed one pass in the second half.
I know, but he isn't the reason they won. It's not like, oh no, Aiden O'Connell torched the Chiefs and he's the reason why they won. Aiden O'Connell's not the reason they won the game last year, I don't think. So I don't know if it can worry you as much.
The pick six at the beginning of the second half is the reason why they won the game.
If anything, you might even feel better that it is Aiden O'Connell and not Gardner Minshew.
There's no reason why they're not going to go. At this point, the Raiders they're a laughingstock. They're like the one just miserably bad team in the division.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're currently picking second overall. I'm glad it's Aiden O'Connell. I'd actually rather face him probably than Desmond Ritter.
And I know. You're going as far as to say Desmond Ritter now.
He's technically the backup quarterback in this game.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew's the actual quarterback you should fear. He's a quarterback who can at least beat you.
Oh, yeah. And you said he broke his collarbone, right? That was...
Yeah. So he's done for the year. They're down to Tom Pelissero reported this morning, by the way, it's going to be Aiden O'Connell. Or at least that's how they're preparing. Unless something changes sometime later in the week, that's how they're preparing.
Okay.
But, yeah, I just I cannot, for the life of me, live in fear of Aiden O'Connell. Okay.
And no, if you are fearing Aiden O'Connell, you are down bad. You are very stressed out.
Yeah. Drew, why don't you go ahead and give? I don't know. I was going to tell you to call Vinny, but he said you want me to call in, and then we normally call Vinny?
We do normally call Vinny.
Okay. You want to give Vinny a call?
I can do that.
That's
real quick.
probably on us. That way we can give ourselves a couple minutes with Vinny Pasquantino. Coming up in 10 minutes, we will have Ryan Fitzpatrick join us. He'll talk to us. He's going to be covering the game as we coming up for Prime coming up this Friday against the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll get to him in about 10 minutes. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes later in the show as well. But joining us now, our VinFL Insider. We'll skip the intro for today, Drew, so we can get to Vinny, who's in town. Aren't you in town, Vinny?
Just walked into the Lowe's Hotel. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
I just walked into the Lowe's Hotel.
Ooh.
Hanging out. just doing my thing.
So did you have to have you no longer have like metal in your hand? Is that what's going on?
I no longer have metal in my hand. I had the surgery this morning. Everything went great. Let's see. I have the metal plate, though. I have it.
You kept it?
I kept it. That's going on the mantle.
I was like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a pretty cool thing. That helped me play a little quicker, so I'm pumped with it. Now I don't have any metal in me anymore.
Last night in the game, Vinny, because I want to get straight to the NFL, do you take the Ravens more seriously for beating the Chargers? That game moved the needle for you at all last night?
No.
It didn't for me
really
either.
Moves the needle for me, though. That was a good game. It's a good football game. But they're a good team. I don't know. I'm not really down on them. I just, I don't know if the Chargers are fantastic either. I don't think there's a whole lot of super powerful teams in the AFC. So they're just a good team. They got a shot just like everybody else does.
I've decided the way I'm determining the good teams is if you have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense in points per game, that would only have two AFC teams, the Chiefs and the Bills. The NFC teams are the Lions, Vikings, Eagles, and Packers.
Yeah. You just shocked me by saying that the Bills and the Chiefs are the two best teams in the AFC statistically. Oh my God. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. Good football teams to me score more points than the other team consistently. So I'm not I guess I am kind of an analytics guy, but not in football. I just want to go see somebody, just run through somebody else. That's what I like seeing in football. Just hard-nosed, tough football.
Did you ever consider football? I don't remember if we've asked you that.
I'm way too soft to play football. Yes, when I was a child, I played. I was the center on a flag football team. That's as far as I went. There was never any more football for me in the cards. I was a basketball guy. Basketball, baseball, theater. Just did it all except for football. I played some soccer. I was a goalie.
What was your so theater. What was your best leading role?
I was Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit when I was in sixth grade.
Nice. You're too tall. Weren't you tall in sixth grade?
No, I was small. I didn't hit a growth spurt until 10th grade. So any children out there listening while you're at school somehow, the growth spurt can come. Came for me in high school. And yeah, I was short in middle school though.
Vinny, when you look at the game this Friday against the Raiders, I don't think the Chiefs should play back-to-back bad games against bad opponents. I know as an athlete, you're like, hey, a win's a win, but the Chiefs seemed down after that win. They did not feel good about beating the Panthers.
Yeah, and Mahomes' comments were funny. Let's blow some people out. I think that's what he said at least. I don't know. I just saw a snippet, so I don't know what the full context was, but I thought it was funny. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough, right? The Chiefs have earned our trust for the next the Chiefs have earned our trust until they get bounced in the playoffs. Until then, there's nothing to worry about. The Raiders don't really have a quarterback right now, so sometimes that can end up being a good thing for you because nobody has any film on who's playing. I don't know if Desmond Ritter's playing or Aiden O'Connell's playing, but it should be. You would think the path to victory for the Chiefs should be there by a lot, and I'm sure they're looking forward to that.
When you look at the NFC side, just out of curiosity, since I don't think we'll have time for your power rankings today, we'll get them next week, I promise. But when
sorry, I was a little late. I was under this morning.
Yeah.
I didn't even think I'd make it, but I feel great right now. So,
feel great because the medicine really works well, or feel great because you're out of surgery and everything went well?
Mostly the second. I'm actually not. This is the best I've ever felt after surgery. I'm not in any pain. I'm not even super, I only have one pill in me, not multiple, so I feel really good. But go ahead with your Lions question.
No, I was going to ask, is it just the Lions in the NFC as you think is the heavy favorite for the rest of the teams, or do you view other teams as real competition?
I don't know, man. The Eagles, they looked good the other night.
Yeah, they did.
And they can, what do they always talk about in football, even if it's more old school? If you can run the football and stop the run, you got a shot. Yes. So, the Eagles they're a good team. And they just, I don't know, the Eagles' perception has changed so much since the beginning of the year because I think everybody thought their head coach was going insane, but they're quietly 9-2 right now, right? 9-2?
Saquon Barkley has a legitimate argument for MVP, I think.
I think it would be like the fun, like my vibes MVP vote would be Saquon Barkley for sure. If I was just voting on vibes, I don't know if you're allowed to do that when voting for the MVP because it just tends to go to the best quarterback. But I would be all in on Saquon winning the MVP, and it would be really funny because everybody would then dunk on the Giants, which I always think, whenever you have an opportunity to just dunk on another franchise, I suppose you take it.
Vinny, last question, because then we got to get over to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know, sorry. One NFL insider.
I took a picture with him one time at a Bills-Bengals playoff game.
I'll ask him did he know who you were?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well, at least that's something worth bringing up. I wanted to ask you, how was Michael Massey's wedding?
It was fantastic. Michael Massey is a beautiful human being. His wife is more of a beautiful human being than him, but it was a very special wedding. It was an awesome week. There was a bunch of teammates down there, so it was a super special, 4 or 5 days. Ceremony was awesome. Mike Sweeney officiated the wedding, which was super cool. And it was a beautiful ceremony. I've never been at a wedding where they served shots at the wedding before, though. That was a crazy move. But
bold.
Michael Massey just does it, guys. He just freaking does it, and he's the best. And it was a great wedding, and everybody was pumped to be there.
Vinny, we appreciate your time as always. Feel better post-surgery. Enjoy. Are you just in Kansas City for the night?
I'm leaving tonight, baby.
Ooh, wow.
I was able to get on an earlier flight.
Right.
And then I don't know if I'll be on next week. We'll see if they have cell signal in Aruba. If they do, I'll be on.
Okay.
So,
if they don't, I'm gonna put Massey in as your backup and say you said nice things
yeah,
about
that's
him.
perfect. I think he gets off his honeymoon Monday, so that's great.
Perfect timing. Vinny, appreciate the time. Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's our VidFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino. Surprise drop in today. We got to take a break. It'll be a short one. Ryan Fitzpatrick joins us on the other side.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
The difference between real custom jewelry at House of Diamonds and so-called custom jewelry elsewhere is like the difference between painting on a blank canvas versus paint by numbers. This is Gene at House of Diamonds. In our store, you don't pick from a collection of designs. Choose from a list of options. Send it off to who knows where for 6 weeks to be tweaked and call it custom. At House of Diamonds, you and we together design and create a one-of-a-kind custom ring, pendant, earrings, or necklace. And since 100% of the work from start to finish is done right here in our shop, we can deliver real custom jewelry and can back it with a double lifetime warranty instead of a disclaimer. One-of-a-kind real custom jewelry, handcrafted just for you, only at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira, and online at mybigrock.com.
Follow the Royal Ring on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as the last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and getting back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
Guys, it's finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list. What? Santa has a list too, you know. And he's a huge salted caramel frosty fan. Probably why he's so jolly all the time. The iconic frosty with a salted caramel twist? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Salted caramel frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung. Ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back in here on Cody and Gold, 96.5 The Fan. Happy to have our next guest join us. That's Ryan Fitzpatrick, former NFL quarterback, current NFL analyst who you can catch on Prime's coverage this weekend. Friday, Black Friday, the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Kansas City Chiefs. November 29th at 2 p.m., and Ryan Fitzpatrick will be helping along with that. How do you like working on Black Friday? You ever shop on those days, Ryan?
Oh, you better believe it. I do a lot of Black Friday shopping, and now with the synergies of Amazon, I'm all about it. We actually, last year was the first year we did it, but we have some fun stuff. You'll get some deals hopefully throughout the game that we can unlock. Andrew Whitworth and I, along with David Chang, will be doing a rib eating contest.
Nice.
Among other things.
He said when he walks through the Kansas City airport, Kansas City fans still thank him.
How about
You
that?
weren't here, Drew. He won the Week 17 game against the Patriots, which the Chiefs needed to be the number 1 seed in the year they first won the Super Bowl under Patrick Mahomes. So it was not nothing, right?
Yeah.
They won that game. It put the Chiefs in the 1 seed. They only had to play a couple of games to get on their way to the Super Bowl, in which they inevitably won. It's like the butterfly effect. What happens, right? Hypothetically, if they don't get that thing. Also, I can't believe Ryan Fitzpatrick once ate a 72-ounce steak in 49 minutes. And a baked potato and 3 shrimp, he said. Did you hear that? It's nuts.
It's something about those athletes. I wonder how many calories that would be.
10,000? I don't know.
Well, because I'm going to say, for him to eat it in 49 minutes, 10,000 is what Michael Phelps would eat in a day, if I remember correctly. When he was training properly, he would eat 10,000 calories every single day. And if you think, I don't know how much that is, but 72 ounces. How big is that, Cody? If you, hand-wise, like we're both on the stream, a 6-ounce steak after being cut and cooked is maybe like that?
Yeah.
So we're talking, it's like
72. That's the size of your chest.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did think was interesting,
That's crazy.
at least from his perspective, is I'd asked him, hey, because I told you early in the show, like, I don't think you can play back-to-back bad games against 2 bad teams. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's the same thing. It's like they're not different, he's saying, for winning 2 games in a row in a similarly ugly fashion to 2 bad teams. It's the same as losing to the Panthers. You've just done it twice now instead of once. But in a lot of ways, I feel like it's more telling when you consistently can't do those things. 72 ounces, man. I can't figure it.
Well, and the baked potato. That's the. I mean, he's just adding on the carbs there.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't imagine. What a great back-to-back guest combo, you know? Vinny, then Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It doesn't get much better than
2
that.
Kansas City icons, you know? We didn't even get a react to Vinny.
That is a funny.
Haley Lewis just sent us a text, our guest from the fan club. She said there's 5,500 calories in the steak alone.
Okay. So
5,500? He like weighs like 210. What do you think Ryan Fitzpatrick weighed when he played? 200? 210?
Yeah. About.
Like a normal quarterback size?
It's just something about those the athletes, man. Like if you just look at, or just people in general who have bigger stomach capacity, I guess, to be able to eat those things. Like me, like my brother weighs about the same thing that I do. I don't have.
And you guys are pretty slight, yeah.
Yes, but he has a bigger stomach capacity than me. Like he can, like if my brother goes to McDonald's, he'll get like 2 McChicken sandwiches, a large fry, a McFlurry, and a soda. I'm only good, like, give me a 6-count McNugget, a small fry, and a drink, and I'm good, and I'm full.
Here are the challenge rules. I looked it up from the steakhouse. Eat the entire meal in 1 hour. If any of the meal is not consumed or swallowed, you lose. I'm looking at a picture of the steak, dude. It's the entire size of a dinner plate. Before the time starts, you'll be allowed to cut into the steak and take 1 bite. If the steak tastes good and is cooked to your satisfaction, we will start the time amongst accepted approval. Once you have started, you are not allowed to stand up, leave your table, or have anyone touch the meal. You will be disqualified if anyone assists you in cutting, prepping, or preparing you to eat your meat. This is your contest. You do not have to eat the fat, but we will judge this. So, like, if you leave a little bit too much meat on that piece of fat, they're gonna judge you for it. Should you become ill, the contest is over, you lose. Please use the container provided as necessary. You are required to pay the full amount up front. If you win, we refund you 100%. You must sit at the table we assign. If you do not win the steak challenge, you are welcome to take the leftovers with you. Thank God, I guess.
Nice. At
No
least.
consumption or sharing of the leftovers is allowed in the restaurant once the contest is over. So you can't, like, I can't order this steak and be like, hey, let's all eat this steak. You can take it with you, but it's not like a table meal, if that makes sense.
If you're there for the contest and the contest only is what it sounds like.
If you fail to complete the challenge, you pay the full $72. 72 ounce?
I'm going to be honest.
$72 actually for a 72 ounce 60 is a pretty good deal.
I was about to say, you're at least getting your money's worth, regardless of if you finish it or not.
He is one of 93,849 people have ever attempted this. He is one of 10,351 winners. So they list him off by decade.
It's been going on that long?
Yeah. 60 to 6. They have a list of people who completed it from 60 to 89. And then it's like the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s.
This thing started in 1960, and only 10,000 people have done it.
How do they not have a former NFL quarterback? I mean, yeah, dude, they're showing this like photo of this guy named Bob Lee standing in a chair of his attempt.
Bob Lee, like the ESPN guy?
I don't know, dude. There's like a couple of like 6 shooters on the table. That's how far back this contest goes.
Oh.
So for some reason you're ever in Amarillo, you can try the world famous steak competition at the Big Texan.
Someone said, "Congratulations, you ate all that food. You prized a severe stomach pain for days."
Yeah, man, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how your body would feel after
You
that.
wouldn't want to eat.
I've
any
treated my
food
body
for...
poorly a few times over the years, right? Mostly alcohol related, but like 72-ounce steak.
If we're being really critical, we all treat our bodies poorly every single day by going out to eat and all that other stuff. Like I just mentioned McDonald's. You're not doing the best thing for yourself.
No, but it's not a 72-ounce steak. There are degrees of this.
Correct.
We don't have to be.
I wonder, are there levels to how it's cooked, or is it just cooked the same way? Like can you ask for a medium rare?
They said you get to decide if it's cooked to your liking. I mean, it is a 72-ounce steak. I imagine it's kind of hard to get it like medium rare the whole way through. Maybe I'm wrong, but like feels like the ends would be at least a little more cooked on a steak that size.
Yeah, you would think so. How long? Okay, so forget an hour. How long does it take you to eat that 72-ounce steak? I guess days, if you want to include I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat some of it, and then I'm going to take it home, and then I'm going to eat
think traditionally I might get like, let's say a 10-ounce. I think 5 ounces is like a pretty normal size for like a filet. I'm certain I've eaten close to like a 10 or a 12-ounce strip or something probably in a sitting, right? It's been a while, but like I don't get steak a lot, but let's say I've probably consumed that somewhere along the way. Half a day. I mean, if nothing else, if I have to eat nothing else, like between a couple of meals, like if you gave me all breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I could eat it, right? But I'm not getting it done in under 6.
I agree with you. I think I'd be able to get it done if you gave me breakfast, lunch, dinner, split it up. Because I feel like a part of you want to just have more than just steak, You want to have something else, but in order to finish it, Lance thinks he could finish it from the text line. I think I can knock out the challenge. I don't know, man. That's...
Good luck. He did it in 49 minutes, man. He had 11 minutes to spare. That's even more impressive. All right, we got to get to an early break because we came back early for Ryan Fitzpatrick. When we come back, Joshua Brisco. He's going to sit in with us for the next 2 hours. We're going to talk about where this team is right now following a close win against the Panthers.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
Men, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts at treating ED. And as a Promenic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season. A renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Make this Thanksgiving an epic one, creating some great football memories with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel is serving up all the ingredients you need for a great Thanksgiving. Play some live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. And the best thing is, you get paid instantly when you win. All you need to do is go on FanDuel.com, use the promo code KFNZ to get started. FanDuel.com, KFNZ as the promo code. Make this Thanksgiving an extra special one with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expires 7 days after free restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Holding out for epic Twin Peaks gear to go on sale? Score 20% off online merch with promo code BF2024 through November 29th. Visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/shop to add the perfect swag to your cart and save big.
Every piece of land has a story. For the Nelsons, it's cruising around their Montana ranch on a John Deere Gator XUV 835R. With 3,000 acres, there's plenty of work to do.
We're not afraid to jump in and help each other out.
That's how they've kept their ranch going for 5 generations.
It's all about efficiency.
Like teaching visitors to fly fish.
The whole joy with fly fishing is matching the hatch.
Run with us on a Gator XUV 835R and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Yo, 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 Dad is in the house. What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN is rated as outstanding on PC Mag. Just visit NordVPN.com and discover the benefits of this all-around cybersecurity tool. It will encrypt your online traffic. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. So improve your digital privacy and protection with one simple click. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro or online at gomers.com.
Happy holidays from Gomer's. Gomer's has all the fine wines, spirits, and craft beers you need for the game days and holiday celebrations. Voted KC's #1 liquor store year after year, our mission is excellent price, selection, and service. 5 convenient locations throughout the KC Metro or shop online at gomers.com.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Number 1 on what's trending over in Las Vegas, who the Chiefs will take on, obviously, this Friday on Prime. Tom Pelissaro says it'll be Aiden O'Connell is the expected starter for the Las Vegas Raiders. You might remember he beat the Chiefs in a game in which he completed a single pass in the second half, but it happened, and it's a realistic thing one way or the other, so he'll at least be the starter there. Of course, What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Next up on What's Trending, DeMarcus Robinson was arrested for suspicion of DUI. Officers on the scene said he was driving over 100 miles an hour at the time he was pulled over. He's actually having the single greatest season probably of his career and has now ruined part of that season by getting a DUI.
Were you surprised that he wasn't driving in the wrong direction?
Backwards. He was driving in reverse, according to police, at least in parts of it. Although he's fixed part of that problem in L.A., too. Annoying. It's like somebody breaks up and they decide to better themselves. You're like, what the hell? This whole time, we could have been working on each other. But okay, fine. I guess do better for yourself now. Now that you're in a different situation. Very serious allegations for him. We'll see. He would likely face a suspension by the NFL once the legal process is done. We know the NFL does this. Rasheed Rice doesn't even have a court thing on file, so who the hell knows when those things are coming. Lastly, on What's Trending, the Rays have to declare, or Tampa Bay, the city, has to declare to the Rays whether they're planning on building them their new shiny stadium by Sunday, according to reports. They had agreed through council to pay $1.3 billion in public funds to build them a new stadium, but that has been put in ice a little bit as new people came into the council. They have until Sunday to declare whether or not they're going to do that. That's it for What's Trending. We're going to keep it short today, because for the next 2 hours, my co-host will be Joshua Brisco from SI on Chiefs. Is that how it's?
Other way around. ChiefsOnSI.com will get you there. SI.com/NFL/Chiefs will get you there. Kansas City ChiefsOnSI.com will get you there. I've got a lot of subdomains that I now have to make this as easy as possible.
You want people to be able to find it.
If you want Chiefs on SI to get, or excuse me, SI on Chiefs to get you there,
You'll get there?
I'll fire up GoDaddy right now.
You ever eat a 72-ounce steak? Because then we can get into the Chiefs, you know?
I have a bold take. I was, of course, driving in here, and I have a bold take that I don't think you're going to like. I don't think Drew's going to like.
Okay.
I think I could do it.
You think you could do it in an hour?
If Ryan Fitzpatrick...
72 ounces, dude.
Ryan Fitzpatrick doing that with 11 minutes to spare is unquestionably the most impressive achievement of his athletic career. I think he would probably agree with that, right? Like, that, it sounds unhinged, but I think, and you guys had this conversation, like Drew's point about his brother being able to eat more despite them being like the same build. The build isn't going to be the thing. It's about how much food you can eat comfortably and then how much you can eat after no longer being comfortable. I think I have a pretty high threshold in both of those categories.
Oh, man, so you're saying you're going to be pushing the limits. But you think you can get it done?
I do. I actually think the 3 shrimp I'm not worried about. That baked potato and the dinner roll, that is a little bit concerning.
You actually almost have to eat the dinner roll at first. I don't know.
I think
when you're really full, that's not going to go down great.
I think at the 30-minute mark, I'm like cutting the roll in half and then trying to put a slice of steak in between it just to like trick my brain into eating something different. Like, oh, it's a steak sandwich now. I don't think I'd do it in 49 minutes. I don't think it would be pretty. I don't think I'd be good to be around before, during, or after that. But I think that I could do it in an hour, really pushing up against it. And frankly, I'm afraid to try it as well for a whole
Health
host
reasons?
of issues.
Yeah.
Didn't you already spend like 24 hours, like 2 weeks in a hospital inside the last couple of years?
Somewhere between those two. But yeah, no, and see, that's the other thing. Not all calories are created equal. You give me a stack of donuts, I'm going to have to plan my entire day around that and also budget for some insulin. You say, here's a 72-ounce steak. It's a ton of protein. There is a lot of meat there. But I think I can handle my meat.
You can get away with that. Okay. Look, at least you're honest with yourself.
I think I can do it.
I'm expecting radio quality here for the next 2 hours. I'll be honest. You're following up a tough act. I thought Vinny Pasquantino delivered 7 perfect minutes of radio.
He did. It was incredible because he gave you the insight on Michael Massey, a beautiful human being, and
on his own surgery, in which he says he feels great, and
Michael Massey's wife, a more beautiful human being, according to Vinny. Keeping the plate is a huge move. I had a dear friend who you know, but I'm not going to name them here.
Sure.
Who had the most, I guess maybe the second most common form of cancer that would affect people with certain anatomy. And we had a conversation about, hey, are you going to ask if you can keep, let's say, the one they removed? And ultimately, he wasn't able to do that, I don't think. I think you have to maintain your right to, if anything you remove from my body, I want it back.
Well, so like it either belonged to me in the beginning, like from birth.
Yes.
Or I paid for the metal plate. You're not reusing it. So
Absolutely.
may I please have it?
Either refund me the cost of the plate or put it in a jar for me to take home.
Yeah.
Put that on the mantle.
And if for some reason you ever get sick of it, Vinny, and you're listening to this show, we love items like that at the Cody and Gold Garage Sale every year. Vinny Pasquantino's metal plate from his hand. I can't even imagine how much nonsense money we would get for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum for that. It would be ludicrous. They'd be furious with us.
There's a level of game used, for a jersey or gloves or a bat.
Game used
That's
metal
a
plate.
game used plate.
That's
for
true.
sure. Not a home plate, a surgery plate.
Yeah, that is game used. Multiple games. Playoff games. That's, it's got to be even more valuable.
I don't think I'm as funny or as talented as either Vinny Pasquantino or Ryan Fitzpatrick, so I have been set up to fail here today.
I've told Vinny to his face. And every once it annoys me about Jason Kelsey too.
Yeah. Oh, God, he's the worst.
I'm like, screw you guys for what, you going to be Hall of Fame level, you're going to be Major League Baseball. You know how much I wish I could hit a baseball 450 feet?
Yeah.
You're going to be like a Hall of Fame center. You're going to be one of the best players of your sport, but then you're also better than me at my job. That's kind of mean.
It's like when they...
That kind of hurts a little bit, if we're being honest.
I think people named the Kelsey brothers the sexiest duo in podcasting. Hey, guys, where else am I supposed to be the sexiest wherever? Like,
We've ranked ourselves on midday on this show before. We've looked at all of the midday, mid-market sports talk shows. Top 10.
Across the nation?
Across the nation. Top 10 on this show.
Wow, really? That's good.
Well, that's all I can tell you.
Okay, it's an industry that skews a little older, and a lot of times you can confuse age with beauty. So I think
a fair amount of people in the industry who are overweight and balding.
That's also a good point. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm going to say it's the Cody and Gold standard. I think you guys have really set something. Did you have a definitive, we're behind them for sure. Like, was there one, or is there someone in your sights?
Former employee Brandon Kiley.
Oh.
He hosts with a former very handsome hockey player. Cooked.
Kiley grew his hair out a little bit too. Like he has evolved into a beautiful flower.
So they had us. They had us for sure. I'm willing to be honest about where we rank in the system.
Yeah.
But we were at least top 10. I felt good about that.
Get on the medal stand in the Midwest. Like try to shrink it down if you need to, and we'll try to angle that.
There you
go. We get you an award. I would love to see a sign in here at some point that says like 4th handsomest midday mid-market show hosts in the Midwest.
I'm going to start personally ranking them, and then it's just like we get the plaque just for our own, and I'll send just the plaque to the one I deem most handsome.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Send them the plaque.
The only thing I would add is that what you could do is just go ahead and put the entire leaderboard on the wall, and then maybe every Friday you kind of go through and check out how everybody's doing. You say, oh, you know what? We got a good haircut over here in Cincinnati. Yeah. We
saw some wedding photos, and it changed my opinion a little
exactly.
bit. You know?
Or Jimmy in Cleveland let himself go a little bit. We're gonna have to kick them down a few notches. I hope there's not a midday show host named Jimmy in Cleveland because I made that up, but it seems plausible.
Seems more than realistic. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're gonna get to all 32. We'll each give an opinion on a team in the NFL. But look, I've decided to eliminate all teams from Super Bowl contention who are not both top 10 in defense and offense. And once I did the list, not knowing exactly the teams that were going to be on there, it only further confirmed the point. These are the teams that are a top 10 scoring offense and a top 10 scoring defense in the NFL. The Chiefs. And I know, it's crazy. They can barely beat the Panthers. They are 10th in scoring offense. They are 9th in scoring defense. A couple of weeks ago, they were like 11th or 12th in scoring offense and like 3rd in scoring defense. So it's taken a big swing. Lions are first and second. They're solid. Vikings are 9th in offense, 5th in defense. Eagles are 7th and 6th. Bills are 3rd and 7th, and the Packers are 8th and 10th. If you forced me to add another team to this list, I guess I could just make some excuse for the Ravens, but I'm not going to because they can't play defense. And if you are not just the 11th ranked defense, or you're the 23rd ranked defense, and you're letting every team you play score whatever they want against you, you will not eventually win the Super Bowl. Can you win a playoff game? Sure. Can you find yourself in an AFC championship game? Hypothetically, sure. But are you winning the Super Bowl? No. I do not think, especially because their number of losses means they're not getting the 1 seed. They can win 4 consecutive defenses with a bottom 10. Is this a crazy metric to judge them on? This is also why I take the Chiefs more serious. And somebody said, well, what if the Chiefs' defenses or offenses 11th next week? I said they get a couple of spots from Mahomes.
Right, and that's, the truth of all of these metrics that we're all doing is there's some matter of subjectivity within all of our search for objectivity, right? Trying to figure out, so why aren't the Ravens here or what? I think it's a good follow-up question. What if the Chiefs are 11th and what if they're 12th and 11th in those two categories next week? Well, I think you would be able to build that case on behalf of Mahomes and Andy Reid and a defense that has a better standard than these recent weeks have shown. Now, I think
they're getting knocked down the list because of a bad month. Sure.
And I think that bad month is going to continue in a lot of ways because that's a Jalen Watson stat to me as much as it is some grand mystery. But I also think the Chiefs offense is on a little bit of an upward trajectory here in a few ways that I'm sure we'll discuss over the next couple hours. But it's also the reason that I would go ahead and make that argument for Baltimore if you're talking about contenders. Because the other thing is once you get to playoff time, the randomness really sets in. When you do have these one-game sample sizes where crazy stuff happens, the Chiefs were a fingertip away from losing to Bo Nix's Broncos. Sure. They were. You could pick any 2 plays. The Chiefs are 2 plays away from losing to Bo Nix, Josh Allen, and Bryce Young in 3 consecutive weeks. But you were
and every team
earlier,
though you can almost do this with. That's what's funny about it.
Absolutely.
The Bills almost lost to Miami 2 weeks ago.
It's why the Lions at 1st and 2nd in your offense and defense stats there and the way they've been winning. So the Lions feel a little bit more, I'm going to put in huge air quotes here, legitimate. The thing with the Lions is Jared Goff going to have a nearly perfect passing performance in the postseason? If you gave me Jared Goff versus Spags right now, I just watched Bryce Young have his best game of his NFL career against Steve Spagnuolo, and I would still give Spags the advantage over the Lions offense if they were to meet in the Super Bowl tomorrow. So it is a fascinatingly flexible group for me that would probably include the Ravens, and I have my doubts about the Vikings. But
I think I have to take the Vikings seriously just based on this. This list gave me honest to God, it gave me newfound respect for them. Because despite whatever issues they might have, the thing I would keep in mind is the Vikings, if they had a legitimate quarterback, they'd be the Super Bowl favorite. If they had someone a lot better, if they had a top 5 quarterback, they'd be the Super Bowl favorite.
Yep.
What people underappreciate about the Vikings are they are better in almost every other area than most teams in the NFL.
Yes.
Every team has some fatal flaw. And for the Vikings' sake, you could say that eventually will be Sam Darnold. But if you look at their offensive weapons, loaded. Defensive weapons, loaded. Defensive coaching ability, loaded. Right? I think Kevin O'Connell is one of the 5 best coaches, 6 best coaches in the league.
I do too.
If you made me rank them out. So, they don't hold a lot of disadvantage. So when I see that they've been able to, even with Sam Darnold, maintain a positioning of a top 5 or top 10 offense and top 10 defense all year, cool. You've told me do I think they can beat the Packers and the Packers and the Eagles in back-to-back weeks? Yeah, probably. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it against the Eagles necessarily, but can they? Sure. I just don't think I don't want to take guesses on the NFC.
It's impossible.
The Lions are the best team, but their schedule is paper soft, so they haven't beaten other than playing their own division, which I get. The Packers and the Vikings are also in here. But it's I don't know who's coming out of the NFC. I know for a fact at this point, I would almost bet if you gave me I gave everyone else any other potential matchup, I'd bet almost anything it's just Chiefs Bills in the AFC title game.
Yeah, and if you were to offer Chiefs Bills or the field just for the AFC representative in the Super Bowl, I think I would take Chiefs Bills. I don't know that I would take any 2 NFC teams. I certainly wouldn't take them as confidently as you just laid out. The thing with the Lions is that they have made their paper soft opponents look paper soft, right? Mm-hmm. That is something that counts for something.
Like you and KC versus Calvary, Take care of the teams you got to take care of.
Exactly. You got to put them down when you have them on the ground. On the other hand, the Vikings are fascinating to me because they might have the best argument up against the Chiefs in all of football for simply best coaching performances on each side of the football. Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores with Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo in this little fake matchup that I'm creating here. The Vikings have maximized what they have done so much on both sides of the football. They're a talented team, but you can see what they've done for Sam Darnold and what Flores has done for that defense, as opposed to a team like the Eagles, who I have never found any confidence in that entire coaching staff at this point, and certainly not in Sirianni.
I know, but I have confidence in Saquon Barkley.
That team is talented as hell, dude. On both sides of the ball, that is a team that you would not be excited to meet again in a game you have to have, because they could beat the hell out of you over the course of 60 minutes. So it's different ways of winning in the NFC, which I think it's happening all across football, to be fair. Different ways of winning, different results, and a bunch of teams that are kind of there floating at the top.
That's funny, because I don't know. This is an interesting week because Andy doesn't talk today, so we're all just going to guess whether or not is Aminihu going to play? Is Pacheco going to play? Is DJ Humphries going to play? I saw he has a jersey.
Yes, he's officially on the roster. Congratulations.
I feel like they'll wait. They'll get a whole 9 days after this Raiders game to get him ready for an important Sunday night football game against the Chargers. That reeks of anytime. Here's a quick tip. If you want to follow the Chiefs, and this is like where media maybe has helped us a little bit more, is if you are like, I bet that player's coming back this week, wait another week.
Yes.
Just go ahead and add on one more week to whatever your initial expectation, maybe 2, but at least one more week of whatever your initial expectation is for when you thought that player would get on the field. DeAndre Hopkins might have been the one exception to that rule.
Yes. He had 3 practices or whatever, and he was out there.
Well, but when he sat at the podium, he said, why wait?
Exactly.
I viewed that different because that was the whole thing. Like when I look at these teams, I think the Chiefs, like someone said, what if the Chiefs fall out of the top 10? I actually think it's likely that the Chiefs offense gets noticeably better over the last 6 weeks than gets worse.
I agree with that.
One is because they'll get Isaiah Pacheco back, and in a month, I think, probably around Christmas time, Hollywood Brown back. But I think we are ignoring what has been the obvious. They're ranked 10th, even though they started slow. I know they started slow because Patrick Mahomes in his first 6 games had 6 passing touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And since DeAndre Hopkins was simply put on this roster, he has 12 passing touchdowns to 3 interceptions and 1,000 more yards than he had the first 6 games. So they've already gotten better on offense, and they're expected to add more and presumably get better at left tackle. I do think it's far more likely that this team goes from 10th to the 7th best offense than 10th to 13th. The defense, we can have a different conversation on. But on offense, I think it's far more likely they get better than get worse.
I think both sides of the ball are pointing in opposite directions right now, just in terms of the trends, and I think I would bet on those continuing to some level. I don't think the defense is going to bottom out. I think what you're seeing is about as bad as it's going to get, but it has not been great recently, and that may continue to evolve in that direction. I'm with you on the offense. I will say, and it's very funny in light of your tip about snoozing expectations a week. I'd be absolutely shocked out of my gourd if DJ Humphries really is even active against the Raiders.
I think it'll just be Kingsley
I do too.
They gave him his 1 week of, here's Driscoll.
Don't even think about game planning this week, Kingsley. Just meditate and look at film and then come back again.
Get you with a therapist like in Ted Lasso or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Do that. So he was active again last week. I imagine that Kingsley will be the backup swing tackle on Friday. I think Humphries probably isn't starting against the Chargers. I've been looking at that Browns game as a little more likely. It's intricate though, trying to compare it to guys like Hopkins or other receivers, or we've seen how Juju came back and got a pretty heavy workload, or last year McCole Hardman, knowing the offense and all of that. Obviously, it's different for an offensive tackle than it is for a wide receiver in terms of learning what Andy Reid demands from you in this offense and at your position group. Yeah. Quarterback and wide receiver are a totally different animal. Kareem Hunt came back after a long time away from the offense and was immediately productive, but he had some experience. He did spend 2 training camps in Andy Reid's offense, right? The thing with Humphries is that he has to get used to not just Patrick Mahomes and how he plays and how he wants his left tackle to behave, but also Joe Thuney. There is a real chemistry thing to figure out between your left tackle, your left guard, and the quarterback. The great news there is that there is not a better quarterback and left guard to have that experience with.
Yeah, and I will say, and this is what's so funny, is those are the things that, in watching football, I don't think a lot of people like to talk about because it's that's kind of boring. Like the handoff. Mitchell Schwartz was essentially the equivalent of 4 minute football. burying Jawan Taylor's ability to hand people off.
That's right.
Essentially saying he's leaving Trey Smith out to die.
Yep.
like one day he's going to learn how he's going to help, Jawan Taylor's going to learn how to help Trey Smith not get killed.
Yes.
And he's like, today ain't the day, but one of these days, because you would see Trey Smith every once. This is the weirdo nuance stuff of football.
It's hugely
where
important.
if you're not sitting on in a meeting, you wouldn't know, but you're like, damn, Trey's got cooked. What happened, dude? You got shoved over. And you're like, not even his job.
Not the guy that he was supposed to be responsible for there.
I had a different perspective after the blocked field goal from the Broncos after watching New Heights. Did anybody else watch? Did you watch this? So this is an episode of New Heights. They're talking right after the blocked field goal against the Broncos. And Jason, Kelsey, and Travis are talking about the position, the guy who got shoved over and eventually the kick blocked. He said, he said it's the worst position on the entire football field. It's called tight end for the field goal unit. And your job is to stab the guy with your arm to the right, stab the guy to your arm to your left, and just let someone run at you full speed directly in your face. That's your job. That is what you are supposed to do. And you're like, well, no wonder he loses all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're supposed to win in that scenario.
It's impossible. And back to Taylor and Trey Smith, we discussed this last night on the very humbly named Josh Brisco show. We had Zach Eisen on, also from ChiefsOnSI.com. And we talked a little bit about what Mitch Schwartz had tweeted and talked about, which I think is terribly interesting. And Zach made the point that also Trey Smith and Jawan Taylor are a little bit of an inelegant pairing. They're both really good players. Trey Smith is a great player, and Jawan Taylor, I think, is a better player than he largely gets credit for, in part because of the penalties, which are his own problem to deal with. But Taylor's best trait is his athleticism, so he wants to get out into space and to use that body of his to make it really hard for you to find a path to the quarterback. Trey Smith, however, kind of wants to keep you in a phone booth and just outpower you, ground you into dust, and then you are not going to be able to go anywhere. The problem is with their diverging playing styles on that right side, you do create those essentially free rushing lanes right at Patrick Mahomes between your excellent right guard and your good right tackle, and the entire offensive line gets tanked by that. Honestly, it's something that makes me go back and revisit them signing Jawan Taylor. I always thought he was going to be a right tackle, a little more likely than a left tackle, and I didn't care that he was highly paid on the right side because you just have to have a left tackle and a right tackle. I don't really care where the money goes. The Chiefs couldn't completely complete that that plan, but I understood the idea. I didn't understand paying Taylor that money to immediately flip him. I could have gone either way, but whatever. After seeing the issues that Smith and Taylor have side by side, sort of philosophically, it does make me revisit, was this always the plan? Did the Chiefs or did Auntie Heck see this coming as a potential issue? Or did they get surprised that maybe Taylor couldn't play a little bit smaller or that Smith is struggling in space a little more? I don't know. But you're so right. It's minutia, but it's the type of thing that looks like Jawan Taylor or Trey Smith just straight up losing a rep that's really much more nuanced than that.
Coming up in 10 minutes, our guy Nate Taylor, who also co-hosts a podcast with Joshua Brisco. Are you familiar with him?
I know this guy.
He'll be joining the show as a guest, not as a co-host in this situation. But first, let's get to all 32 in the NFL. And I'm going to tell you right now, people hate takes like this because what I'm telling you is factually correct, but no team will ever do it in fear of losing their job. No team in the NFL should ever sign a free agent quarterback to try to win the Super Bowl ever again. It's never worked. It's not working for the Falcons, and it's never worked for your team. It is the living embodiment of the meme that is Tobias Funke saying, has it worked for those other people? No, but it might work for us. I just went through the last 20 years of Super Bowl winners. Are there a couple trades in there? Sure, you can find a Matt Stafford who went to one or won one. You can find a Jimmy Garoppolo who went to one. Every other quarterback who has played in or won a Super Bowl was either drafted by the team or maybe a trade, right? You got to go all the way back to Kurt Warner with the Cardinals to even make an argument for it. Never. If you're a team and you're like, I'm going to win now. If you want to just reset the franchise so that you're not a loser franchise, fine. But I would say the second you get that job, start making your plan for drafting a quarterback. To stabilize yourself, fine. If you talk yourself into we're bringing in Kirk Cousins and we're going to win the Super Bowl this year with the Falcons, idiotic, and it's never going to work.
Unless Peyton Manning handpicks you as his next destination.
That's the one.
Don't do it that way. Why couldn't Peyton have picked somebody else?
anyone else. God. But in fairness, now the Chiefs kind of get the lap. Like, they've only got as many franchise Super Bowls, or maybe the same amount of franchise Super Bowls as the Denver Broncos now. You don't have to feel as bad about that one. Peyton Manning's the last. That's the only. There's two, I think, in the last 20 years. So, okay, I guess if you can get Tom Brady, so if you can get an all-time great, right?
Yeah. If you get someone who's playing in a gold jacket.
If you can get one of the three, okay, not even kidding. The only examples of this are Peyton Manning, Tom Brady in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So if you can get 2 of the 5 best quarterbacks to ever walk the planet Earth,
ever.
Fine. You know what? Go nuts.
Do it.
If Patrick Mahomes is a free agent at 40 years old,
someone should sign him.
Go for it. But if it's not him, don't waste your time.
It also might be almost him and not work twice if you're Brett Favre.
This is not even
that guy doesn't work all the time.
I didn't think they'd win a Super Bowl, but I thought it would work better for the Falcons than it has.
Yeah, it also wasn't. Peyton Manning also wasn't the reason why they won that Super Bowl.
Oh no, it was the defense.
So it's not like we can say, yeah, it was Peyton Manning was the guy that really led that thing.
What do you got for us, Brisco?
Okay, Drew, you want a quarterback who can turn his neck. I get it.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about the New York Jets because, my goodness, I think their GM search is in excellent hands. Now, I'm not going to trip over any hot wires here, but it's worth noting that their owner may leave the team to join a political administration. He did this 4 years ago. So right now, the Jets ownership, led by Woody Johnson, is figuring out how are we going to find our next GM and our next head coach. Here's how they're doing it. The Jets are retaining the 33rd team to support them on their upcoming general manager search.
Blog site? They could have hired you.
The website, I'm available, Jets. But per Adam Schefter, former Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum and Vikings general manager Rick Spielman will lead the project for the NFL Technology and Media Company. You heard me right, folks. The New York Jets and their search for the next general manager to lead that absolutely decrepit franchise to the mountaintop. They're hiring a GM they've already fired. How can you not believe that's going to work out great? Just go ahead and bring in one of your recent high-profile failings. Have him pick the next guy. What I would love, I think this happened with the Dolphins years ago, right? I can't remember who it was now. I hope Mike Tannenbaum goes through a vigorous search process. And he says, all right, Woody, here's what I found. You need somebody who has NFL experience.
He's going to hire Brian Billick.
None of these first-time GMs.
Super Bowl winning coach Brian Billick.
None of these first-time GMs, no thank you. You need someone who's been there before. And Woody, you need somebody who understands the New York market. What you really need is a forward thinker, a refreshed mind, someone who understands the surroundings but can help you take it to the next level.
His name's Mike.
I think you should hire Mike Tannenbaum. Signed, Mike Tannenbaum.
Drew, we're going to get to yours in a little bit here. Let's take a quick break.
Sorry, I talked so long, Drew.
I talked too long, I think is what it was. We'll get to Nate Taylor on the other side. He's working over the Athletic. I am told that Patrick Mahomes and his media availability gave his start, bench, and cut for Thanksgiving. We can get to that with Nate Taylor next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Gates Barbecue's most iconic flavors will make your holiday meals unforgettable this year. Spice up your holiday get-togethers with Gates sauces and seasonings, made with fresh ingredients and gluten-free. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates sauces and seasonings. And while watching a game or your favorite holiday movie, sprinkle Gates seasoning on a fresh pop bowl of popcorn. Your taste buds will thank you. Buy Gates now. Available at your local grocer or online at gatesbarbecue.com. We do it the old-fashioned way.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Spend more time with the family and less time in the kitchen this holiday with a little help from Hy-Vee. You'll find heat and serve meal packs for any size gathering with proud favorites like succulent turkey, honey glazed spiral ham or prime rib, plus savory sides and rolls. Choose from pumpkin, apple, or French silk pie and more. And in honor of our dedicated employees, all Hy-Vee stores will be closed Thanksgiving Day for time to celebrate with family and friends. This holiday, let us do the cooking while you get the credit. Only at Hy-Vee.
I love the customer service experience that I have every time I go to Hy-Vee. You know what else I love about Hy-Vee? I don't have to sacrifice quality and service to get low prices. Hy-Vee just dropped the price on thousands of items in every aisle, in every department, both in-store and online. Hy-Vee even match prices with the nation's biggest discount stores. Get Pepsi and Coke 12-pack cans or 8-pack bottles, buy 2, get 2 free, and get a free turkey with the purchase of any Hormel whole boneless ham, only at Hy-Vee. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. And Brian, if I have friends with insurance claims, why would I recommend them to you at Manning Roofing?
Well, Bob, we're a one-stop shop for all trades, roofs, windows, siding, and gutters. We have licensed and insured subcontractors and a dedicated project manager that'll be on site to deal with your insurance company and make sure we submit all the documentation needed.
So do what we did and set up your appointment today at manninggc.com or give them a call at 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Yo, 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 Dad is in the house. What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN is rated as outstanding on PC Mag. Just visit NordVPN.com and discover the benefits of this all-around cybersecurity tool. It will encrypt your online traffic. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. So improve your digital privacy and protection with one simple click. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I'm Phil Sims. I played pro football for 15 years. People always ask me, what am I doing now? And I tell them about Balance of Nature, that I'm taking that. I try to eat right. I would say Balance of Nature is a big part of having a happy life because I know I'm doing something that's really good for me. It's going to help me in many aspects of my life. I do it.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off with your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code
Phil.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 44.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Joshua Brisco with you. Drew Nixon on the other side. Few injury updates over for the Chiefs on practice. Cam Jones and Spencer Schrader will not practice today. There's some reporting last night that Schrader probably missed the game on Friday due to his hamstring. So Matthew Wright has been signed to the practice squad in case he's unable to go on Friday. He has kicked for the Chiefs before in a limited capacity in some way. Also, Peyton Hendershot was placed on the injured reserve list. So
Baylor Cupp back up from the practice squad here, according to one Nate Taylor.
Which just put in a claim on Dulcich or something?
Yeah, 1,000%. I thought they might do that before this Hendershot thing happened. The Chiefs are on tight end 6 now. It's as we all thought. 35-year-old Travis Kelce, Iron Man, never leaves the field.
Plays 90% of the snaps.
Breakout year for Noah Gray. And then everybody else has been lost for the year. I mean, Wiley, Fortson, and now Hendershot all to IR, just trying to be the third tight end for this team that was playing legit 14 personnel for a moment here or there this season. They have 2 tight ends now, legitimately. Cupp has at least been around, so he knows the offense a little bit.
Joining us now, our Chiefs insider, Nate Taylor, over at The Athletic. He's been covering the team at the facility. Nate, I guess I don't really care if it's Schrader or Wright. It's a backup kicker. Am I supposed to be like, what? Oh, no, it's a different backup kicker? I don't know. I mean, if they... it's fine.
Look, every, hey, man, all the details matter. Every piece of this matters, Cody, of course. I mean, what terrible news for Spencer Schrader, who I guess, suffered an injury. I guess doing a workout, just doing a little little lift. Matthew Wright, God knows where he was, is here today. DJ Humphrey, God knows where he was. He's here today. Some dude I've never seen before is here today. Don't know his name. It's too much, fellas. There's entirely too much going on, but this really puts the exclamation mark, the punctuation, I would say, on just the injury bug absolutely trying to overtake this team as they try to do an unprecedented thing in the 105 years of the NFL, which is, win straight Super Bowl. So with all this information, a little bit of which that I just put out on Twitter because the team has finally gotten through all the roster mechanisms and transactional stuff, because they have to do that before they practice today. Okay, so now, with all of this in mind, guys are coming back. I'm at the point now where I'm like, how many guys are legitimately going to play a snap in the 2024 season, fellas? It might be the most since I've ever covered this team in, 2017, 2018? It's wild. It's absolutely wild. But hey, they're gonna play on Friday with a new kicker, with a tight end we may have never heard of before. Or Carson Steele's gonna play tight end. Who the hell knows?
That's fine. I'm open to that, I guess, at least from this perspective. But also, I understand that, but this is also what's kind of offensive about the way the NFL does these awards. Do we just ignore circumstance? Circumstance means nothing for NFL Coach of the Year. It's only expectation versus what took place. Shouldn't circumstance play some factor? He's down 15 or 20 players at this point.
They have a full, I say this, full practice squad of injuries. Full. They could put out another lineup of injuries. And so, my belief is this. If there was ever a time, since we've known Andy Reid to be Andy Reid, if there was ever a time to really consider him for the award, it would be this year. And I think it kind of hinges on the fact can you get these guys to the finish line, which, in my opinion, is Christmas Day against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you win that game, that will pretty much all but assure the 1 seed. And if he gets this particular Chiefs team to the 1 seed with as many in and out substitutions, holy smokes! Wasn't Juju supposed to be part of the game plan? Yeah, he's done. Patrick's like, it's the first quarter. Yeah, he's cooked. He can't play. Yeah. You're going to be targeting Noah Gray against the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, cool. Hey, did I just injure my best receiver? Yeah, man. His knee's gone. It's completely blown up. What? Hey, Patrick, what do you want to run on this next drive in the second quarter? So with all that to be said, if they get the 1 seed after all of this with their third kicker, then yeah, that goes to coaching. And Andy always says you coach the coaches so that the coaches can better coach the players. How can he not win the award? But I understand Dan Campbell exists, and people love Dan Campbell. Even I love Dan Campbell. But he might not get the 1 seed. If the Chiefs get the 1 seed and the Lions maybe falter and maybe they get supplanted by the Eagles for the 1 seed in the NFC, how could you not give him this award?
Is there a world in which hey, Nate, longtime listener, first time caller.
Brisco's a co-host today, just to make this clear. He's not like a second guest at the same time.
Oh, that would have been pretty fun. I mean,
that would have been great.
Cody,
Two guests at the same time. Hey, this one's for you. First part, second, if you don't mind.
Cody, I wish you were a northern Midwesterner lawyer, but since you're not, we'll just do this show instead.
I like Joe's, if that counts.
It definitely makes us all more comfortable here. Is there a solution with the deep ball returning that might be the thing we need to make the Andy Reid Coach of the Year campaign happen? Because I feel like that's the other issue that's getting in the way. We talked about this last night on the humbly named Josh Brisco show, where I had to do a thing where I was like grading the Chiefs coaching staff. And I think people are deeply frustrated with what the Chiefs offense has been, but it's because they've lost all of their players, as you just laid out. The only guy on this team who I think has been legitimately completely healthy and playing a full workload this year is 35-year-old Travis Kelce.
Yes. Yeah, I saw your tweet. It was just like, guys, this wasn't the plan. Like, at no point was this the plan, but it's happening. Which, again, is a credit to Travis, because you could tell that he's like, can I just preserve my body till January? And they're like, hey, man, we need another route. And he's like, come on. So, no, this is a great point, because it really does hinge on Xavier Worthy. And there were a couple times where I thought maybe Patrick could try him in a one-on-one deep ball situation against the Panthers. But, I understand. They still scored 30 points. It's not like they were terrible. Again, the same issue remains the same. And I saw DJ Humphries today, guys. I saw him with my own eyes, and I said, oh, yeah, that's right. That was Friday. Yeah. That was Friday. So, yeah, a lot of moving parts, but for the coaching staff and for the quarterback, and to some degree the receiver, because he is so inexperienced, and this is, everything's new to him. So, you're not relying on, like, a fifth-year veteran, and they're just not connecting. Like, there's something to be said about a rookie who needs to get on the same page with the quarterback, and the quarterback who honestly hasn't thrown to a guy this fast since Tyreek Hill was, like in his prime. So, okay, we've got the right coverage. We've got the right personnel. We got them, kids. All we got to do is play fake, make the defense think one thing, we'll go over the top. Oh, my God, why is he right next to me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Wasn't he supposed to be blocked? What? Like, like, it is amazing that and you know this, Josh, on a down-to-down basis, and when I say down-to-down, I mean a true passing down. There is no illusion of running the football on third down, or, hey, maybe it's a first down call, and the defense kind of knows we want to take a shot, because, like, every team would want to take a shot on first down.
Nate,
what kind of protection am I getting? Is Wanya's playing through so much pain, guys. It's absurd, and he's battling through it, and you can tell, because the Panthers realized in the second quarter, well, if we just use speed rushes, we can just get by him, because this whole knee thing is like bothering his footwork or bothering his technique, or like the fact that he can't do it consistently over and over. And with Jawan Taylor, it's, well, I mean, I can go out and in, or I can also try to go around, and I'm just David Clowney. I'm like actually good, I'm not just some regular dude. Like, I'm a good guy on a terrible roster. So if Patrick doesn't know what he's going to get down to down, how the coaching staff knows what they're going to get down to down? And so you know what we should do? We should just incorporate another new guy into the mix, as we try to get the 1 seed in 2 weeks from now with DJ Humphries.
When you look at, I guess here's the question I have as it relates to the other side of the ball. The defense, which has actually been the unit declining versus the other side where I think the offense has been getting better. I ask myself this sincerely because I think it's kind of a difficult answer. Why is a defensive line unit with the identical players from the previous 2 years who were third in sacks 2 years ago, second in sacks last year, 26th this year, Nate? I'm not even kidding. Dana, Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Turk Wharton, Felix Anudike-Uzama. These are the same players, Nate. Why are they so much worse?
I think it's a couple things. Chris Jones is playing more snaps than he needs to, but that's out of a necessity because he has to be on the field to legitimize anything you have from a pass rushing standpoint, to at least get a one-on-one for somebody or to set up a blitz if that's what you want to do. So, again, I haven't looked at the numbers because obviously they changed it Sunday, but I mean, Chris Jones is close to 80% of the snaps. I don't know if Josh can look that up really quick. He needs to be down to 65, 70%, but he has to be on the field for anything, right? Tershawn Wharton had a great start to the season. He is kind of tapered off. George Karlaftis has been very hit or miss. It's weird. He should be better than this, but also it's somewhat explainable because he doesn't have a myriad of push rushing moves, and he's also not the most explosive. So he's someone who helps collapse the pockets, which again the Chiefs have done pretty well because they continue to get pretty good pressure numbers if you look at it from just a data standpoint that doesn't involve sacks. Mike Dana, I think, is the biggest issue. The fact that he has not been healthy this season and that his production, him being sort of the third guy in the waiting of Charles Omenihu, it has just not gone as well as you would hope. So it was nice that he got a sack because Chris Jones was literally destroying worlds. And finally, Mike Dana won his one-on-one. Congratulations to him. He gets a sack and he gets the forced fumble. It's unfortunate that they didn't pick up that ball. But here's the issue. Spags is now having to blitz out of necessity instead of luxury. And because you don't have L'Jarius Sneed just absolutely assaulting guys at the line of scrimmage, and you don't have Trip McDuffie, from the slot position, sort of being a shadow for any receiver who wants to run out of the slot, you can't get cover sacks now. So it's a combination of things, but Chris Jones needs to be playing less instead of more. Mike Dana, you hope this is the start of a new trend because he's getting a little healthier in the second half of the season. And Najee Johnson's not going to put anybody in handcuffs. So it kind of means you have to blitz more than you probably want, or you're not in an advantageous situation where it's 3rd and 8 and you're like, man, if we just cover this one part of the field and we blitz, quarterback has no solutions. Right now, even Bryce Young's like, hey, dog, just run it out. Well, who is it? It don't matter. Any out. It's an out route. It could be Brian Cook. It could be Justin Reed. It's obviously going to be Tamari Connor most likely. Or it could be against Najee Johnson. Hey, I like the one-on-one matchup. And that's unfortunate, but that's kind of where we are.
Those were not hypotheticals, by the way. They won all 4 of those. They beat all 4 of those guys on out routes against the Panthers. Also, Nate, it was 85% of the snaps for Chris Jones.
Oh, my God.
82% on the season, 73% last year.
He took one more snap than George Karlaftis on Sunday.
Jesus. I mean, guys, listen to that. Imagine getting double teamed at largely the highest rate in the league right now because you're so good. You cannot get one-on-ones. When you get one-on-ones, that sort of makes the interior of the defensive line work. So you can't even go outside as much as you would like. Now do it over and over and over again for 80% of the snaps, man. This is an issue of injuries. The Chiefs literally just cut Cameron Thomas today.
Saw that.
That didn't work. Didn't work out, kids. No. Hey, Josh Uche, I would probably play him more snaps, guys. But Steve Spagnuolo's like, look, we have an onboarding process. It takes a while. Okay. Well, Mike Fennell's not a pass rusher. I mean, okay, Tershawn Wharton's right next to me. It's not like I can ask him to play more snaps. He's coming off a freaking ACL, man. They have nobody, which means, hey, dog, you got to play 80% of the snaps, and you got to be dominant. No one outside of Aaron Donald has done this in the last 2 decades.
Nate.
And it's crazy to me that he's held up this well this late in the season with this much of a burden to get consistent pressure on the quarterback.
Is Omenihu coming back this week?
He wants to. He has made it very
This damn
clear.
team, man, they slow walk injuries it drives me nuts. They think someone's just gonna fall apart at the seams. Be like, hey, a guy could come back any second. 1 month later, and then they're
Here's the medical part that I understand. Why will we play you against Carolina at whatever noon our time?
Yeah, that one last week made sense.
Have to fly back, and then of course have to play on a shorter rest against the Raiders. Hey man, if he's ready, roll him out there for 10 snaps. I don't care. Like, you got to start getting some sweat on.
It's all
Isaiah
Felix
Pacheco.
Anudike's getting. I mean, he can't get 9 snaps.
It's all Joshua Uche's getting. It's all anyone other than Mike Dan and George Karlaftis are getting.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, like, hey, get him 10 to 15 snaps against the Raiders. You get a longer recovery time for the next game against, the Chargers?
Yep.
So they really should do it this week. I don't know why they wouldn't, other than to just be like, we think we can beat the god-awful Raiders by 3 points without you, which, fair point.
Nate, we're going to play a clip of what Mahomes just said in the postseason, or in the press conference, and I want you to give me your answer to this same question.
Oh.
First, I don't know what right way on macaroni and cheese. We all have a different debate on that. If it's just general, it doesn't have to be the 3 that were given there. Of the 3, start, bench, and cut.
Yes.
What are your Thanksgiving choices?
I wish stuffing was substituted for turkey because I think that would make it a much more entertaining thought process. But hey, shout out to Steve with the question. I know exactly what Patrick's getting at, fellas, when he says make it the right way. Hey, I'm Beverly. Sit down. No, not for you. Not for you. Let Grandma handle that, okay?
Yep.
Hey, Aunt Donna, stop it. Get away from the pan, okay? Let Grandma handle this.
You said like heavy cream and a little bit of char on top. This is what it sounds like to me.
Hey, this is no time to experiment in the red zone, okay? Get the ball into the end zone, Grandma.
I need a recipe older than me.
Yes, exactly. And I know comedians have made this joke, so I'm just mostly replicating this. I'm not saying this. You got a little jiggle in your arms? Okay, then you've been through the wars. Okay, let's go. Let's roll, all right? Now here's my answer, okay? It depends on the day. Right now, I've had very little coffee, which means I probably need yams. So I'm going to say yams, mac and cheese, then turkey. Now, you can catch me on another day, and I might say, hey, man, is pepper and salt on the table? Because if it is, give me the mac and cheese if Grandma making it, okay? Now, look, I love yams just like everybody else, but I think Patrick's getting to a cultural thing here. And again, we got I think it was Blair Kirkhoff who said, sir, what do you mean if it's cooked the right way? And what a follow-up. And Patrick's like, I am biracial. I cannot go further. And I was just like, no, man, you can go further. You can always go further.
Real quick, are yams a cultural thing too? Because that's not something commonly served at the Tap household.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Oh, and so we got stuck with green bean casserole? That's slop? I don't even like that dish.
Oh, my God. Get it out of my face.
Listen, I told Cody I had a take that wasn't going to be popular. Green bean casserole's my 1-1.
Oh, 1-1? Terrible.
You're 1-1?
My 1-1.
How white are you?
I need Grandma's recipe that came off the can 45 years ago. That's my 1.
Oh my God!
Hey, Cody, that's hilarious.
Wow! Oh, good Lord! Wow, you're a pale, my friend.
I am.
He wants that cream of mushroom soup.
It tastes wonderful.
It's like the only seasoned thing white people make, Nate. That's what Josh is
talking about.
Fine. You know what? For you, fine. Hey, if it's a one time you're gonna get casserole this year, I guess. But look,
I'm not making it in June.
Well, this is a casserole king holiday. Let's admit that.
Yeah, this is a casserole holiday.
Yeah.
Yes, it really is. It's a casserole and it's a pie holiday. Get that cake out my face. No cookies, no cinnamon buns. Get them all out my face. Where's the pecan pie? Where's the sweet potato pie? Where's the pumpkin pie? I mean, apple's fine, but like, I can have apple pie any time of the week, Ma. So look. All I'm saying is, within all of this, Patrick, it's okay, man. You got to do both sides, and that's fine. That's beautiful, honestly. That's the American dream, I guess, in a sense, weirdly. hey, it's okay, man. Just tell us what it is, man. Because you know what? If you're trying a new recipe right now, no. If you're trying to take less cheese out of the mac and cheese, then no. That's not what this is about. And so I just, I understand Patrick is a very savvy human being, but what a great follow-up. And I just wish we would have gotten the truth from him, because honestly, he's pretty great at being honest. But it's just like, you guys know what I mean. And I was like, Patrick, not everybody knows what you mean. Like, literally, not everybody knows what you mean. Okay, it's okay. But yeah, with candy yams, ladies and gentlemen, what you want is a nice warm smothering of, in any particular order, brown sugar, marshmallows. Hell, put graham crackers in it. I don't care.
Ooh.
Cinnamon has to be the star player, okay? If the yams are the offensive line moving us down the field, we need plenty of skill position players. Like I said, cinnamon, okay? Brown sugar, that's your great tight end. Flexible in any situation, okay? And then you go over the top with marshmallows. It's easy, guys. It's such an easy thing. I would encourage all my white friends to just talk to somebody and put it down. Try something new that will bring you closer to the warmth that is Thanksgiving.
I have to defend my specific green bean casserole honor with one additional detail. I, of course, am a Midwestern white, but the recipe origins for this green bean casserole, Nate, came from the same place where the Chiefs scout for cornerbacks, okay? So I want you to know that this is not a green bean casserole that came north and fell south. This is a Southern grandma's green bean casserole that I'm looking for here, and I understand now. It's really important that I add that context, but that's
to defend himself.
I just have to make sure that the jury has all the details here. That's all.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I said I would include stuffing is because I know y'all know what that is, okay? Now, if I wanted to go a little bit more blacker, I would say where the greens at? Where the greens at? Now we can go three wide with greens.
Have you had greens before, Brisco?
And mac and cheese?
Not from the Thanksgiving table as often though. I think that's
I've had them, just not it's not a Thanksgiving.
That did not permeate the Brisco tradition.
So so a pro style offense, you understand, ladies and gentlemen, includes stuffing. All right. If you want to go a little more RPO, a little more college style, a little more advanced, bring in greens. Okay, see what the greens can do on the field.
I just got a text from my mom that says that my grandma's respective recipes are like 70 years old. I'm going back to the sacred text. That's what I want to put out there.
Hey, thank you, Ma. Thank you. Okay. Because you know what? You didn't make that recipe, and now we're good. We're good.
We're good. Hand that down through generations.
Nate,
That's right.
We appreciate the time as always. We'll catch up next week.
Yes, sir. Let's see who's on the injury report next week.
Hopefully no one else. My God, I can't take it
stay
anymore.
healthy.
Just get through Friday. Nate Taylor of The Athletic. You can catch his work over there. We were given as a gift like 10 years ago a recipe full of like my grandma's and
that's
recipes.
so great.
All in her handwriting.
Cool.
Like all in her old cursive. Yeah,
nice.
Dude.
That's
that
awesome.
That was the dinner roll for the Taft family. It's made with real lard. Like you gotta go to the store and buy lard. You can't there's no and by the way, that's the other thing. I'm not looking for your health conscious substitutes
Not today.
for my Thanksgiving meal.
No, sir.
I am open to those at other times. If the recipe that you read from 100 years ago calls for lard, go get the lard.
Go find it.
That's what made it taste good when you were a kid, and that's what's going to make it taste good now. We come back, we'll get to more Chiefs, including, what is an overfilled cup here at this point of injuries for the Chiefs? Let's talk about that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Finding an attorney can be an overwhelming process. Fortunately, since 1996, Mark Ferguson has helped thousands of Kansas Cityans during their time of need. Whether you're facing a traffic violation or a more serious crime, Mark and his team of seasoned, compassionate professionals are here to fight for you in all of your legal matters. Mark has built his career on integrity, knowledge, and an incredible reputation. Call Mark Ferguson at 816-203-2263. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Target Black Friday deals are here, and with up to 50% off gifts, you can make so many wishes come true. There's up to 50% off tech, video games, toys, and board games for gifts filled with wonder. Plus up to 50% off small appliances, floor care, holiday trees, and so much more. You'll even save on all the essentials to get your house ready for the magic of the season. And there's free shipping when you spend $35. Save more on gifts with Black Friday deals. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho 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 ho.
This Thanksgiving, Paramount Plus serves up a must-see NFL on CBS divisional matchup when Jared Goff and the high-flying Detroit Lions host top draft pick Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. It all kicks off Thursday at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL on CBS, streaming live on Paramount Plus.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
you can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Raiders game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 hour remaining of my week, and then I'm just calling it quits for the rest of the week. I'll watch the Chiefs on Friday, I'll do that job. Joshua Briscoe's with us, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. So we continue to talk Chiefs and whatever else we feel like for the rest of the hour. Briscoe and I are absolutely this half hour getting into Kendrick Lamar's album. If you remember, Briscoe was with us last week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Briscoe's all in. Oh.
Yeah, it dropped in the middle of him being a guest on our show. I had to listen to it on my way home, and I've obviously listened to it since. There's a new update on that. Unbelievable content. I can't believe that is the avenue that Drake would go.
I should have waited, Briscoe, because I came back yesterday with a TV off of Kendrick yelling mustard from a break one time.
I am now nervous about if I have lost some of my ability to talk about this album after the conversation we just had with Nate.
Yeah, that's fair. But at least we're trying, We're allowed to have opinions on things. I had to defend the first time I brought up Kendrick Lamar on this show.
At least on that gold?
The very first time it came up, I had said, I think Kendrick Lamar is one of the 5 most talented musicians I am aware of, right? And someone was like, a musician? I'm like, are you kidding? Are you nuts? He's so good.
What you meant was that DJ Mustard is one of the top 5.
Exactly. So we'll get to that in just a minute.
Great. I'll save my takes.
Because when you get into the green bean casserole, it just makes me want to turn into the appropriate meme at the moment, which is like, she's a witch, bro. I just want to yell at you instead.
I also have serious opinions about the new Wicked movie. If you want to go ahead and
was
follow
it any
that.
good?
Yeah, it's good. I'll tell you this. It's technically it's Wicked Part 1, and it's 2 hours and 40 Christian minutes long. The actual play is 2.5 hours.
Okay, so I'm not taking my daughter then.
I bet she'd love it. I wasn't
2 hours
bored.
and 40 minutes.
But it's nearly a 3-hour film.
So I've already made this stance clear on the air. If a movie is longer than 2.5 hours in the theater anymore, I won't be there.
You have said that.
I'll be watching it, and I am at an age with children at this point. I will, in my own home, watch a movie in parts.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to watch 90 minutes of Twisters and knock out the other hour later.
If it's Twisters, I think you'll keep up with the plot probably, right?
Well,
hey, hang on.
I'm not saying I've never watched a movie in full in the last year. Sure. I certainly have. But I am not afraid to start and stop a movie and get to it later.
I think that's very brave.
I think context is this 2 hours and 40 minutes of runtime, or is this the last 10 minutes are credits and it's technically 2.5?
I believe it's a full 240. Okay. We were there through the credits also. I would say it didn't feel like it was dragging on.
That's good.
And Renee, I had not seen Wicked. I had no real relationship with the musical. But Renee said they didn't really add stuff. They didn't add any songs to bulk it out. Most of the additional things were visuals that you wouldn't be able to do in a play, so they do it in the movie.
I just think of that one song, popular, right? I think that's all I've known of Wicked. I never saw it.
That song I recognized, and Defying Gravity is the big, showstopper, whatever. I knew that from
Text line
maybe
claims
just
you have to give up your man card for seeing that instead of Gladiator 2.
That's fine. You can have my man card. I'll keep my wedding ring, Texter. Thank you. Thank you for your advice.
Flex on him. Flex.
Look, if I don't.
Flex.
What do you want?
Let's talk Chiefs for a minute, because then I'm going to get to a random question of the day. It's related to the holiday, which feels appropriate. We'll do that in about 8 minutes. I asked this question earlier, and I like other opinions on it. And I asked the text line, and it was pretty kind of universal, and I was surprised.
Okay.
Is this year's offense better than last year's offense right now? Today. Don't give me the but then Pacheco and then Hollywood and then, maybe they'll get better with DJ Humphries. Just as it sits right now, are they better on offense than they were last year? My answer was yes. I was actually surprised to find out that a majority of the text line agreed with me. And the biggest thing I can boil it down to is efficiency. Neither team could get the ball down the field. It's relatively the same offensive line. I think they have better offensive talent who has a more defined role. And I think they are just more efficient at moving the ball from the 20 to the 20 and better in the red zone than last year's team. Significantly better? No. But better enough than the drop off from the defense of what they were last year to what they are now versus what they were offensively last year to what they are now. I actually think it's closing that gap not too bad. and can close it the rest of the season with Pacheco and Hollywood.
Do you know what happened on November 26th, this day last year? I'll save you the trouble.
I don't.
Rashee Rice went 8 for 107. It was his first real game as the Chiefs' number one option.
He finally broke out.
So
from that point on, he was incredible.
With that in mind, it makes the question even more interesting for me because I think that I would agree that the answer is yes, that in this snapshot right now, maybe I have to draw the line before the week 12, 11th game. Well, I guess the Chiefs just played their 11th game, so maybe we need to take it after that Raiders game. We didn't know where Rice was going to go exactly, but that was a pretty good sign, right? I think I would take it right now because I think the offensive line is, of course, very, very similar, and we'll see how that ultimately shakes out. Again, I know you don't want me taking Hollywood into account, but I have to take into account what they've pivoted off of this year. Yeah. Kind of going back to that coaching conversation of, well, they've underperformed, but they lost their number one and number two receivers, and they've been losing their depth tight ends, and their left tackle was a disaster, and so they're adjusting there, and their backup left tackle has been banged up in his own right. So I think that with the turnover issues in the first half of this, I guess the first quarter of the season in particular, those seem to have lessened over time. And because
that's a variable stat just in the NFL typically.
It does ebb and flow, and especially when you have those high variance turnovers in a high impact spot, like in the red zone where the Chiefs were also struggling. I think we've seen them stabilize in those realms in particular in a way that makes me more optimistic. And then if you said, hey, like this game on Friday is all of a sudden magically we have waved on, then it's for the Super Bowl, I think you'd see them with a heavier dose of DeAndre Hopkins and being able to pull some more of those levers, taking those deep shots to Xavier Worthy. So I would also lean towards the yes.
Like, that's the other
They're
part.
Not trying enough or hard enough, in my opinion, but they are trying.
A lot of times, historically, the way I look at it is like, you're right. This is the exact time that Rashee Rice took off. Okay, so Xavier Worthy's not Rashee Rice, right? No. He's not going to just, like, turn into honest to God, if Rashee Rice had stayed healthy all year, I think he's probably like a 1,300-yard wide receiver, and we are having a very different conversation with this offense and who they are. But I also think that it's not crazy to assume that from here on out, Worthy will be better than he was the first half because Worthy is even 30% success rate from all the attempts they made in the first 11 weeks away from being like a 700-yard wide receiver this year, which is way better than any number two option they had last season. So if we consider Kelsey a wash and Hopkins a 90% Rashee Rice from last year.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Well, then the number three option's way better. McCole is in a better place, just generally speaking. Yep. Like they are, and then like that's even just like, and yeah, the gap they can continue to close if Hollywood Brown comes back.
Noah Gray's in a better place.
Yeah, Noah Gray's way better, significantly better player. And so I think they're better already. I think the biggest key, because like I asked this question because as I see it, Brisco, like relates to the Super Bowl. If you think that they were the second best, first best defense last year, now they're the 10th best defense, because that's where they rank right now. Let's just say they're the 10th best defense. Well, then you need the offense to move up 10 spots just to say relative.
Sure.
When everyone's healthy, that doesn't seem crazy to me. The only thing that stands out statistically this year that is weirder than last year is the sacks. But I think what's happening there is Mahomes decided to take those rather than turn the ball over. And I actually think it's a pretty good trade.
Yeah.
Being sacked more and being less risk and being risk adverse, that's not the worst trade-off. Getting sacked is less bad than turning it over.
Yeah, it also is. That's an interesting angle and an interesting kind of companion piece to some of the issues, especially earlier in the season, that I think they've evolved a little bit over, let's say, maybe since the Tampa game on down over the last 4 games, where there was clearly a relationship between the offensive line leaving Mahomes a little bit too open at times, Mahomes either dropping too far or bailing out of a pocket he shouldn't have been leaving out of, exactly, feeling some phantom pressures a little bit, and then also those every once in a while turning into turnovers. I think that a hugely important thing in this, to look ahead a little bit, this is a huge question for DJ Humphries and how that relationship will work out. A hugely important thing for this offense is Patrick Mahomes comfortable in the pocket right now? Like, is he comfortable back there, or is he hitting his last step?
Stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is he hitting his last step and then going, I bet one of my tackles is about to lose, and then he's either taking off or trying to find a gap in the offensive line that maybe he's not there because Trey Smith's not flushing his guy out. He's a guard. He's just holding him there, right? I think you can find that discomfort And some of it was from last year. I wonder if some of the deep ball issues stem from last year. There is sort of a connective tissue between last season, the first half of this season, these last couple of games, and how they've kind of tweaked things from there.
They've looked way better in offense last month.
It's been better, I think, in some part because Mahomes has been able to settle down a little bit. And I wonder if part of him settling down a little bit has been accepting that he's going to get sacked more, but he's look, I'm not going to drop my eyes after my second read and try to look for where to go because I'm going to keep trying to find a place to go with the football. And if I get sacked, I get sacked. I wonder if there's a little bit of that in there too.
Like he is only one sack away from a career high.
That's crazy.
He got sacked 28 times like 3 years ago as a career high. He has been sacked 27 times this year. He's only played 11 games. It's
wild, man.
It's weird. I mean, it's definitely surprising because it's the same offensive line essentially as last year. I know Donovan Smith to Wani, but there's not like a huge. No. Like there's a drop off, but it's not that big of a drop off. Like when I asked that offense question, it really kind of boils down to a simple thing. Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, we know, are the two leading receivers. Do you know who was third on this team last year?
Third in receiving yards.
Because third on the team this year will be, we can agree, right? Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins are their number one and number two options.
Yeah.
The yardage is going to be weird because DeAndre didn't come till later. The third option, we all agree, is Xavier Worthy.
Yes.
So like a really reliable guy who's going to finish 600-700 yards maybe.
Did Justin Watson get third last year? I don't think he did.
Correct.
He was?
Justin
Okay.
Watson with 27 catches for 460 yards. I wish we could get that Justin Watson back, honestly.
Yeah.
MVS was still fourth on this team. Sky Moore, who is still technically employed, had 244 yards, whatever. So it's just like they're more talented. Like they're a more talented offense. And Mahomes is like his numbers are starting to reflect that. But I do think that they had to we just pretend like other influences don't matter. So Patrick Mahomes had to immediately deal with the fact that his number one wide receiver was now gone. Their entire season's worth of offensive game planning was gone. Do you remember how well it was working with Rashee Rice? Just as a quick reminder, they had found out a way that Rashee Rice was pretty much locked in to 8 for 100 and a tutty every single week. Like they had the offense so figured out that was a virtual lock every week. And then they had to go back to the drawing board. At that time, they're like, hey, is Sky Moore still any good? Drop the first 5 passes they threw to him. They're like, well, that ain't going to work.
Nope.
So on to the next. Then they make the trade for DeAndre Hopkins, who's still only been on this team for 5 weeks, one of which he played after 3 days of being in Kansas City. So a true month. So I still think there's growth there. There's just so much left in the offense is the way I view it.
The other thing in the guy they may get back, they lost Hollywood Brown on the first offensive snap of the preseason.
I know.
That
was another part of their plan. They spent all of training camp.
This offense had an entirely different identity in training camp. Obviously, Kareem Hunt ends up here because Isaiah Pacheco gets hurt, but this offense was never. Isaiah Pacheco was not going to lead this offense the way that Kareem Hunt ended up doing for several weeks.
They run it the same way, whether it's Kareem or Pacheco.
I think they've leaned into some things that Hunt does better, and I like that they've thrown him the ball a little bit more in recent weeks. I'd like to see that continue while he continues to have his share of the workload. But that's the crazy thing. Remember that clip of the deep ball to I think it was the deep ball to Xavier Worthy that had Matt Nagy throwing his arms in the air and dancing around in the highlight? This was a deep ball offense with 3 legitimate weapons at multiple levels of the field from the wide receiver spot alone, not including Travis Kelce or touchdown machine tight end Noah Gray. This offense felt like it could really run through Rashee Rice largely in the intermediate, have Xavier Worthy be a deep threat early on who evolves into a deep and intermediate threat as the season goes along, and Hollywood could attack all 3 levels of the offense, or all 3 levels of the defense on the field. You have all those weapons all collectively creating a much easier life for Mahomes, and then you pull the rug out from underneath you.
Yeah, then just turn it all over and start over.
It's Xavier Worthy and Kareem Hunt. Run the offense through them.
Let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Josh, for you, Drew, over on the text line, 913-586-7965. You can hit us up YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. The Fan 965. Like, subscribe, download. Briscoe's waving to you in case you don't watch it. You can see what he looks like if you're what does he look like? He's got a bronze necklace.
Copper. How about that? Yeah, got it in the Southwest.
Okay. I had one necklace in my entire life. Never really stuck with jewelry. Don't even wear a wedding ring.
Wow.
Never really could stick with
jewelry. Is that because you still have your man card?
I had one necklace for 1 week, and if I told you the year, I assume you guessed it. It was in 2002. What necklace was I wearing?
Puka shell, baby.
Correct.
Puka shell.
That is the correct
I
answer.
don't know what that is.
Puka shell necklace. It's another year.
Really? How old are you, Drew?
The little,
29.
the little
the same
white,
age.
the little white shells.
Shells, surfer dude.
That's what that's called?
Puka shell necklace, baby.
I know
Puka shell
exactly. I
necklace.
know exactly what you're. So you were like you had like the surfer vibe.
Short run. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we all
wanted
shopped
to.
We all shopped at Pac Sun in those days, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
Didn't
I
have
had
a
plenty.
long run in the Tap household. It lasted shortly.
It's hard to pull off that lifestyle in the Midwest.
So this is my last day of the week before I take the rest of the week off for the holidays. So the question I'll ask you today is, what is your holiday tradition that has nothing to do with the holiday? So like what I'm saying is, I don't want like we build gingerbread houses every year. Like for instance, for the last 3 years in a row, me, my wife, and my 2 children go to Kelly's in Westport on Christmas Day. They're not even open to the public. The Kelly's family just invites us. So my kids, every Christmas, 3 years in a row, go play hide and seek at Kelly's in Westport.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Where I pour my own beer behind the bar and have a good old time. So like, what is your tradition that you do that is not related to the holiday, right? That's what I want to know today.
I know mine for sure. It's a little bit of a new one, but I can explain. We watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
What?
It's got to be the second one.
For Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
There is one. I told you earlier, I texted you, there's a podcast I want to recommend at some point today because there's never been a better time to get in. There actually was. It was 10 years ago. There's a podcast called Till Death Do Us Blart. It includes 3 brothers who do a podcast I like very much, my brother and me, and then 2 New Zealanders who professionally will watch one movie once a week for 52 weeks and do the podcast throughout. It's called The Worst Idea of All Time. The concept of Till Death Do Us Blart is that it's the first ever annual eternal podcast. They have all pledged that every American Thanksgiving they will watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 for the rest of their natural lives and then do a podcast about their watch. Renee and I watched it a couple of days ago. We watched it one time previously as well.
Okay.
And this
so you're
year,
committing to this as well?
I don't know. I don't have to do a podcast about it, but I've enjoyed the watch along because this is year 10 for them. No hosts have died yet. When one of the hosts does eventually pass, they name their successor at the end of each episode. So there is a contingency plan here for keeping this show alive. But it's a truly remarkable thing. It's called Till Death Do Us Blart. And just go start listening to the 2015 one, I think it would have been. You can listen to these 5 guys just slowly, psychologically unravel year over year. And the next episode ought to be out on Thanksgiving. So I watched Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
My family also, someone mentioned playing left, right, center. We do that every Thanksgiving. That's recently, too. We always gambled or did something. And my brother always brings this box now that's just like electricity on 2 electrodes. And we're just essentially like shocking ourselves.
I've done that at a Thanksgiving.
So that seems to occur every single year, trying to figure out what size circle we can get. Somebody says we play Monopoly on Christmas Eve, like sticking with it.
Yeah, sure.
That's interesting.
I love a board game.
Drew, do you guys have one?
I'm trying to think of one, and a lot of our stuff is centered.
Yeah, like decorating an ornament or making a gingerbread house.
I know. Well, like for Christmas, we always open one present on Christmas Eve. Still has to do with Christmas, but we always do one present on. I guess we always have pizza on Christmas Eve. That's one. I guess there we go. That's every single Christmas Eve. We always order a pizza. Could be from a different place. Could be made, I guess. We don't make.
But pizza's the food.
Pizza is the food every Christmas Eve.
It took us a little while. It was an adjustment maybe like 5 or 6 years ago in my in-laws family. So my mother-in-law and my wife, and like there's like 10 of them. Christmas Eve, when we get together, is she makes enchiladas.
Ooh.
And I go pick up chicken from El Pollo Rey and tamales. So like,
God, that sounds good.
So she makes enchiladas, and then we go pick up tamales from San Antonio Market, and then across the street get chicken from El Pollo Rey. So that is for the last 4 years, I don't know, 5 years, that's been the Christmas Eve fare.
Have you considered how much better it would taste if you ate it while watching Paul Blart Mall Cop 2?
I had not considered it yet. But like you know what? This is where like people probably underappreciate like the podcast space. If you want to do something truly unique, that isn't just like, because like we can all do, like anybody can fire up a cheese podcast, and we all do and do those things. There's a podcast that I watched a full episode of because I was fascinated by the concept, called Talk to Us. So you're familiar with like,
I've seen the clips.
Okay, so Talk to Her, we all familiar with the girl, right? She has her own podcast. The Hawk to a Girl has a podcast called Talk to Her.
Yep.
I've never seen a single episode of that podcast, to be clear, the Talk to a podcast. I have seen an episode of a podcast called Talk to Her, in which 2 gentlemen sip wine and eat cheese and crackers and have like a genuinely studious conversation using graduate level words. They're drinking like strawberry lemonade out of wine glasses, breaking down the events of her podcast as if it's a thing.
Incredibly serious.
It's like a turducken. Yeah, they're doing it in a way in which they're like trying to evaluate it on its very serious merits or the situations in which they're in as if they're serious situations. I can appreciate the like absolute absurdity that it's like.
I think Talking Dead, we did that for Walking Dead, a lot of Game of Thrones podcasts. Think about it like that. It's like a show recap show, but for the Talk to a podcast featuring the Hawk to a girl.
All right, here's over on the text line some more answers. We watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail every Christmas. I maybe need to adopt this one from 816. We do a big Mario Kart tournament on Christmas.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I think
that.
but if we
love
do that, I want cash or prizes. Like I want this to become a cutthroat tradition.
Not
Does
just
that
bragging
make
rights?
sense? No, I want like
you get like a gold Santa hat or something that's yours the rest of the year.
I want
Nice. That would be cool.
I want it to end in like trash talking an 8-year-old as you're hitting them with a red shell crossing the finish line level cutthroat. Because if we're doing it, I want it to mean something, right? I want, like you said, I want to be able to lord it over everyone for the whole year.
Yes.
That this is what I've accomplished.
You wear this gold Santa hat to every family gathering. I like this one.
Like it's the Lombardi Trophy or something. You're just bringing around. Oh,
you're on a championship parade the rest of the year. I like this one here. Have the annual passive aggressive convo with my dad about why I don't have kids yet.
That's an annual tradition. How many years in a row have you been working on that?
That's a good question.
That is a pretty good one. That's a really good one.
A lot of movies, like they watch the first Die Hard after all the presents are under the tree on Christmas Eve. Somebody said that they watch The Sound of Music every Christmas. Not a Christmas movie, obviously.
No, but in a weird way, it feels like it's like anything that's like people like singing in the hills just kind of feels like Christmassy.
It's the spirit of Christmas.
I don't know what it is.
From the 816, Cody, you'll appreciate this as well as anybody who plays LCR. Play left, right, center for big money. Interfamily relationships have been scarred.
Yeah.
As a result, you're saying that would be the Mario Kart tournament as well, where you're yelling at a little kid because you beat him in Mario Kart.
Person says the Mario Kart tournament, first place is $100, second is $50. Like I'm not kidding. If we did that, right, and it always had to be the newest version of Mario Kart. Because like if it was Mario Kart 64, I'm gonna destroy all the kids, right?
You got the reps.
They got no hope, right? There's 2 or 3 of us it would be in competition for. I mean, it'd be a tight race for first, but like, but I would also make a point of like the month in the lead up. I can't tell you like. Mario Kart would become a regular thing in my life.
Yeah.
For the entire month of November leading up to Christmas, I'd be getting the Nintendo 64 controller. I'd be getting reps in before. There'd be some people that have no chance because they wouldn't commit the way I would commit. That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Are you a manual or automatic?
Well, Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Oh, I've tried to do the manual in Mario Kart. I think I was a manual for a while in the Wii because I felt like there was a significant speed difference.
That's exactly the same.
But I've never adopted it on the Switch. I never felt like it was as beneficial to me as it was in the Wii.
Yeah. I think that's the right call. I need to revisit the Switch version 8, I suppose.
I will say right now, if we're playing Mario Kart 64 in a tournament and you don't jump around the turns, you're getting cooked.
Yep.
It's over
That's how it
for
is.
you. If you're thinking, wait, jump around the turns, it's over. It's too late. You can't win the matchup.
I saw another text tradition here. We sit around and take our blood sugar and give a prize to the lowest. Texter, invite me. I would love to come
This
to
is
Sweet
rigged.
Sugar. I could definitely rig
Diabetes
this for
gives you
myself.
a definitive advantage. in
Huge
this.
advantage. I hope my prize is a shot of glucagon, but I could win. My prize may need to be a regular Mountain Dew, but I can beat you.
Someone might have to hit him with like with extra medicine at some point.
Yeah,
but he'll be okay.
I'll need you to pour granular sugar in my mouth, but I'll get there.
See, I would implement this Mario Kart thing for Thanksgiving this year, but the Chiefs game's on at the same time my family's getting together this year.
We're already going to have a competitive event that ruins the day for us. We don't need anything else.
Dang.
Add to it.
Brisco's calling a Steelers win then? Is that what you're saying?
How many times have they beaten the Bengals so far?
Too many.
Okay. I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid of them in a real way, Drew.
From the 816, I would destroy Cody in any Mario Kart. Any?
Yeah,
I'll set up a parking lot right now.
They're
I will
trying to
say,
flex on you right now.
Same thing. The N64 applies. We're not. I mean, I can take the same shortcuts you can, but I'm saying we're not doing that. You got to still run the race.
Oh, okay.
You got to run the race. We're not in Wario Stadium jumping over the third hill.
I kind of like Wario Stadium.
I understand, but like I'm just saying from a clean rate, you can Now, you can use a lightning bolt and zap
Yo,
them
I
down the hill.
forgot. The
That's fine.
Steelers haven't played the Bengals yet this season. Those games are both still coming.
Yeah, the Steelers haven't played anybody in their division, right?
Drew, you can tell Burrow beat them for me, would you?
They've played 2 teams, the Steelers have. The
Yeah,
Ravens
as
and
of 2 weeks ago, they played 0. It's like 2 weeks in a row. All right, that's my random question today. We get back, we'll talk some more Chiefs. I don't know, have a little bit more fun. We got 30 minutes left in the show next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
As you've likely figured out, I can get pretty fired up, whether it's lab diamond ripoffs, bogus sales and financing offers, or paint-by-number jewelry sold as custom. I'm pretty passionate about protecting my client family from predatory jewelers. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and when I say client family, I really do mean family. At House of Diamonds, we have clients who have watched our kids grow from diapers to dormitories. My family and I are personally in the store every day. We go to school and church here. Our kids play sports here. We look our clients in the eye, not in their bank accounts. Our relationships are based on trust and respect, not ad gimmicks and false promises. No fake custom jewelry, no bogus sales and financing offers, and absolutely no lab diamond ripoffs. Everything at House of Diamonds is real. Me, my family, our team, our passion, and hopefully soon, you. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Are you going to start the new year dealing with the same old joint pain, losing sleep, not able to take walks or do what you love because your knees or hips hurt? Well, don't do it. Take action now to get the pain relief you deserve for 2025. Call QC Kinetics now and say goodbye to shoulder and back pain. QC Kinetics local medical professionals are waiting for you. Their advanced protocols in regenerative medicine have helped tens of thousands of people, and I'm talking about lasting relief. Imagine a new year without those achy joints, no more pain pills, no more steroid shots. QC Kinetics uses the healing properties of your own body to attack the root cause of your pain, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. This is the future of medicine. So set up your appointment today with QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, 816-412-6299.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, layoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho 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 ho.
This Thanksgiving, Paramount Plus serves up a must-see NFL on CBS divisional matchup when Jared Goff and the high-flying Detroit Lions host top draft pick Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. It all kicks off Thursday at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL on CBS, streaming live on Paramount Plus.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
It's been the official Eras Tour book coming to Target on November 29th, featuring over 500 photographs from the tour, including never-before-seen performance and behind-the-scenes images. And for the first time, the Tortured Poets Department, the Anthology, with 35 tracks on CD and vinyl.
Only at Target.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
More Kendrick Lamar coming back from break. Cody Gold here on 96.5.
I don't know how much more of this he can play. We got to start talking.
Yeah, I would.
We can't just leave the bump music to breathe a little bit.
No. Clean version is here. I have.
Okay. Phew. I was a little worried we were going to get in trouble.
No,
the Chiefs, by the way, as of 12 seconds ago, officially announced they've signed DJ Humphries. I thought we all knew that, but that's fine.
They signed who?
Is that not his name?
DJ Humphries!
Oh. So he's whatever. It's fine. He's a Chief. I don't think he'll start this Friday. Nah. I think we get more of an answer on that from Andy Reid tomorrow, so I guess stay tuned for that. We'll at least get a sense on this. From the 303, Kendrick needs to do a collab with DJ Mustard. Cody does. I don't think he'll do one.
With you?
We tried desperately. I can't imagine. I've never tried. There were 2 times. I've been to Super Bowl Radio Row 8 times. Like a ton. More times I've been to a Super Bowl, but I've been to like Radio Row like 8 times. Yeah. There are 2 times that I really, really, really wanted a guest on the show. I did not get either. One was Martha Stewart. Oh. Tried. Really tried. And this was maybe even before like really tried.
You know Nate Taylor's Martha Stewart thing? Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'll find out later. So desperately trying to get
sounds like a loaded story.
And then last year, I was trying to get Little Dicky on the show so we could get one quick bar that I could work into a song.
I was denied 4 times. I tried. I was denied 4 times.
You tried.
We really tried.
Was he just? What was? Well,
I didn't even get to talk to him.
What was he promoting? Because I feel like he promotes his own things and contraceptives are the 2 things I've seen him promote.
Was he doing a comedy? Not. I mean, his show, but I don't think it was a show. I think he was actually. It wasn't like his TV show. I think he was actually performing or doing something.
Point is, we couldn't get him.
Yeah, couldn't.
So
Lil Dicky too big for you guys? What's going on?
I guess.
Well, they asked why we wanted him, and I was like, well, we want him to.
He considers himself a musician. It just wasn't getting anywhere.
Yeah, we want to have him spit some bars.
He's an Eagles fan. Is that anything?
I mean, playing the Eagles all the time feels like there's something there.
Okay, all right. Why do you want him on? Well, why is he here?
the more valid
what do you
question,
care when I want him on? Why is that important?
Yeah, what are you trying to filter out? Are you trying to filter out specifically people who may ask for one line of dialogue from Lil Dicky to maybe go in a song later in honor of some Royals player?
Someone said I did also try to get Bill Romanowski. I threatened to fight him. I told him, actually, that's not it. I told him.
I would hope that's not it.
I said.
Yes, you did.
I don't know if it was threatened to fight. I told him I was going to call him a coward to his face.
And
coward?
You did that?
And I no-showed us. He was supposed to show up in Radio Row.
No,
he's the coward.
We actually got a response from him that he would be on the show, but then when we tried, he wasn't actually there.
Oh, that's right. I said I was going to call him a crybaby to his face. That's what it was.
Do you think that he knew that and bailed, or he just bailed and happened to avoid that?
Hard to say. CTE can get the better of a lot of people, and I'm assuming that that's affecting Bill Romanowski's health as well. Can the Chiefs, legitimate question here, So the Chiefs lost a couple more people to injury today.
Yeah.
Small ones, right? But now they're on their third kicker because Schrader's he's not in the IRR, but he didn't practice today, and it's Tuesday, and the game's on Friday, and they signed Matthew Wright to the practice squad. So clearly he's going to be an elevation on Friday and kick for them. And they just lost another tight end. Peyton Hendershot is heading to the injured reserve list. So now he'll be done. That is the third tight end they have lost this year. Legitimate question. Can the Chiefs afford to take on even one more ounce of water in the injury department before this levee breaks? I don't know that you can take on much more. They've lost 2 wide receivers for what has been the entire season, a third for at least 5 weeks in Juju Smith-Schuster. They're now on their third kicker, their 9th tight end. They're on their third left tackle for the season, by the way, by the time DJ Humphries. Now, that one's not injury related. Although isn't because Nate Taylor's saying Wanya Morris pretty much can't walk. Yeah. So they need the additional help there as well. So I feel like they're at the theoretical limit of injuries. One more might break this machine.
It's kind of, I'm not trying to pick anybody to get hurt here to sacrifice or whatever, but it is kind of funny that the only position where I think they might have just more depth than snaps right now might be defensive end, a group that has not been good enough, frankly.
They really can, yeah.
Testing that is sort of bizarre because, again, they waived Cam Thomas today.
But they had Mike Dana out for essentially
and they missed him for a while,
6
right?
weeks, yeah.
And Cam Thomas was active for, I think, 6 snaps during the Dana outage. And in a minute, who's on his way back. But no, they have been ravaged by injuries in a way that kind of to the point of what we were talking about earlier, that you and Nate were kind of covering in some of the interconnected issues. It's not just losing your number 2 corner that would hurt any team. You lose your number 2 corner at a time when your pass rush is seeming to take a little bit of a step backwards from where it was last year. You lose not just your number 1 wide receiver, but your number 1 wide receiver after already losing your number 2 wide receiver, making your new number 1-ish wide receiver a rookie who just got here, and then a veteran Hall of Famer who just got here.
A guy who you signed on August 15th.
Or Juju, who then misses those 4 or 5 games or whatever it was. So there has just been this domino effect, and to me, that's why in kind of the coaching conversation that we've been having, I mentioned this doing the little grade thing last night, and we've been talking about Coach of the Year and all of that. I have to grade the entire coaching staff on a curve. I still think there's a couple levers they could pull. The deep ball in particular seems like the thing that's there for the picking, but you give me this entire resume of all the guys the Chiefs have lost this year. The fact that they're 10-1 is honestly impressive.
Yeah, it's at some point though. It's like anything else. I think there's just a certain amount before it's it shows.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it has not impacted the win-loss yet. But it will. One more injury and it's okay, maybe it's a 14-win team. And then you need the Bills to lose 2 games in order to get the 1 seed. Versus if you're a 2-loss team, you only need them to lose 1. And that 1 is fairly obvious when they've got the Lions on the schedule on the road. You're okay, I can pick out a loss. And I know that the Jets-Patriots in the season doesn't look daunting, but the NFL last week cannot teach you that divisional games are different.
Yep.
That those can be losses even when they should be wins. All the time. Every year in division games, it is the same damn story. It's not new or interesting information. It is just a fact of living life in the NFL. The division games are different. So maybe another one there, but you don't want to count on the Bills having to lose 2. You want to count on you only having to lose 1 the rest of the way. This one should be a win on Friday because I don't think you have any excuse to have back-to-back bad games against terrible opponents. Ryan Fitzpatrick actually kind of nipped that in the bud. He is a former NFL player, so I should probably heed his advice a little bit. But I think there's a part of it is more deeply one game against a bad opponent in a season where you're already just kind of a 1-score team, especially when I'll always point out, and I pointed this out yesterday, I think it's an important note of that Panthers game. The Panthers never held the ball with a chance to win the game, ever. Mm-hmm. In 4 quarters, in 4 quarters, they never possessed the ball with a chance to take the lead. In 4 quarters, never had a chance to actually lead the football game. They could have tied it, but never had a chance to lead the football game. There is no reason for you to no-show against a terrible top 5 in the NFL draft picking opponent 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
They just lost their starting quarterback on Sunday, and they were already terrible.
The
division game gets me.
Understandably, does it extend to a nail-biter against the Broncos, a decent football team with a quarterback who, was sort of figuring it out, and the Chiefs putting up 16 there, maybe? I agree that the consistent struggles against bad teams, I think rightfully makes you doubt what exactly you're getting from the theoretical good teams. When that happens over and over and over again, the Chiefs just always in this zone, it feels like, where I'm looking at the scoreboard behind you, and I'm just seeing one score game. That's a one score game.
There were a couple of 2-score games in a row.
A 13-point win over the Saints, and then 10 points over the Niners after the bye week. Hallelujah! This team suddenly learned how to blow teams out again.
2, but they lost.
It's crazy, man. It really is. It really is remarkable that they're always there. I think that can coincide with like the injury conversation, where, with a couple of incredibly important exceptions, like Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are not significantly more talented than most of the teams they're playing right now, even lesser teams.
No, but they're better coached than they have Patrick Mahomes.
That's enough.
Weighs a lot in the
that's
NFL.
enough to have you win those games. But I think that's why there's not these blowout performances, because there's not a huge talent disparity between the best edge rusher on Friday on the field is going to be Max Crosby. You know what? Like you're going to be able to do that on multiple levels. Like, I think the Raiders are at a point now where Jadeveon Clowney might have been on Sunday, or at least him and Chris Jones in that. He was the best edge rusher, definitely.
Edge rusher,
pass
yes. Pass rusher
would be Chris Jones, and then
I refuse to
I wonder how many Panthers in a row you might have. It's you take Mahomes 1-1, Chris Jones next. Maybe you draft Travis Kelce third. If
So
you're
guess what
drafting
happened
players.
with George Karlaftis then? Because again, he was a 10.5 sack player last year. He was surrounded by the exact same talent.
Yep.
This is an indictment on only, like, the pass rush deficiencies feel like an indictment on 2 players. One, and I'll point this out, because they're going to be like, well, George Karlaftis has more sacks than Chris Jones. I have eyes.
Yeah. Yes.
Chris Jones still ranks top 10 in the NFL in pressures, and he's double teamed on every play. So
This is not a Chris Jones problem.
I don't think so. So so what happened to George Karlaftis? And then I think Felix Anudike-Uzomah not developing into a medium level NFL pass rusher, like a 5 to 7 sack guy.
And then a guy they traded for at the beginning of the season to try to bolster that group, they cut today in Cam Thomas.
Yeah. I don't even remember what they gave up for that.
A 6th, I think. It might have been a 7th. It was, I think they were going to lose that Hendershot pick too, for what it's worth. But to your question about what happened to George Karlaftis, I think 2 things happened. It is the same talent on the defensive line, but it's not the same talent on the defense. When you look at the way that George Karlaftis wins reps, it is typically with strength and endurance and consistency and closing and folding in his wing of the pocket. When you don't have anywhere to go with the football, you have more time to double team Chris Jones while Karlaftis and Dana start to do the trash compactor thing. Right now, what George Karlaftis doesn't have behind him is L'Jarius Sneed. And so when you have a pass defense in the secondary that is much more exploitable now than it was at this time last year, I think you see that clock speed up for this defensive line. And Chris Jones is the only guy on this D-line, other than occasionally Tershawn Wharton, who can win fast. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it.
Well, George Karlaftis, in your defense, George Karlaftis has always been a high motor guy.
Always. Yeah, that's his game. And then also you have opposing tackles now who have a year of high-level production on film from George Karlaftis. He doesn't have a real varied pass rush. He doesn't have a whole lot of moves that he can consistently be throwing at tackles. So I think if you're prepared for a power and effort game, don't let him get around you. That's not really his game anyway. And then give your quarterback a slow death to work with. And by that point, Najee Johnson or Shamari Connor's guy is probably open.
I did make once, in his rookie year, an unaired song for George Karlaftis. It was to AJR's World's Smallest Violin.
Okay, I know AJR a little bit, but
it's I'm sure you've heard that song.
Probably. I don't know if I know the
maybe Drew can
title
play
of it.
like a short clip of it. I believe there are some curse words in it. So
an AJR song? AJR got edgy?
I would look for the clean version.
What is this again?
The World's Smallest Violin. Because it was the Chiefs' best defensive end.
Why didn't that air? That felt forced.
Honest to God, what happened was I made the whole song about how he was going to get his first NFL sack real soon because he had a half sack. And so I was making this whole thing about like how I thought he was playing better than he was, and then he got the sack, and I was like, well, I can't air it now. It's just kind of useless.
Okay, all right,
so
interesting.
But I mentioned high motor guy even in that song.
Yes. Water polo, baby. He's got a motor that lasts forever.
My defensive end played at Purdue. He was a high motor dude.
I do now know that song now.
You know what
now
I'm
that
hearing?
you've said that, I'm like,
Can
okay,
I hear just a short clip
I have
of
the
it?
instrument.
Yeah. Defensive end played at Purdue. He was a high motor dude. And then blow your quarterback to smithereens later, I believe, became a line.
I'm reading the lyrics to make sure there's not a cuss coming up.
I made sure to look at the clean version again. So
Yeah,
we're
good.
That's so
my job,
insane.
so-
Oh my God. He's
Yeah.
so insane.
Yep.
Next to him, these plays don't look so, like whatever it was.
Where does that rank for you personally in your best performances?
Honestly, in retrospect, that song was good enough to air, but it didn't make it. It's middle of the road one. I haven't given, someone's asked me that before, my personal ranking system.
Yeah.
And I think what the general consensus is, Pasquantino deserves to be somewhere right near the top.
Yeah, it's
it's probably
blush,
one.
It's hard for Pasquantino to not be the first pick here for me, but I'm trying to remember.
I think it is that.
I think it almost has to be, right?
Michael was very good.
Michael was very popular, and that was in a run when I was hitting some pretty good Royal songs there for a while. You know what? Honest to God, I thought underrated because it flew under the radar because he only had 10 days up, and then he got kicked out. I made a song for Nelson Velasquez this last year. It's like the only Royal song that didn't work. And I thought my song choice, I think this deserves to be in my top 5, and it's never going to get remembered because of the player that it was for. Because nobody expected this song.
I'm trying to figure out why it's the song. Where's the pun going to be?
So what's important here is the fast part when I eventually, I get proud of myself when I actually hit the hard part. Let's see if, wait for the next part. This is when I think it gets better.
This
the
is still
fast
pretty
song
good.
Part. I thought that, I hit that part.
You were in your pocket. Yeah. You were in your bag.
When you get the difficult part, that's where I feel like you're like, okay, I hit it. That's why the Pasquantino one works. I sung in Spanish for that.
Yeah, that's huge.
There is
a respect in that fact.
I rewrote an entire part of that song in Spanish.
That's excellent.
And it might actually be the better part of my singing in that song, the Pasquantino part. The general consensus on that one always is like, why does his voice sound better in Spanish? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a register different.
I think so. Also, everything sounds a little better in Spanish, right? Like, I think that makes a little bit of sense.
Just a better language.
Just a man of many talents, Cody.
That's all. It's way up. I thought that one got underappreciated at the time.
What's the chorus of Velasquez? What was the pun in the? Why did you end up?
I was begging him to hit home runs.
Okay, so it was just simply begging him to hit more home runs. Okay, got it.
So
you should have sang it more based off the lyrics there if that was what you needed.
In fairness, he did play for the next. My whole theory was always like a 10 to 14. I can't remember the exact number, but like my song works for the previous 2 weeks when you were terrible, and then the 2 weeks after that you're gonna be a lot better. He was a lot better after that, and then he was never on the roster ever again.
Well, man.
Never on the roster.
Did you ever try to get a hold of anybody in the organization to be like, guys, you wasted?
I really worked hard on that song.
I can tell you, there was another comeback coming. You cut the experiment too short.
There's a limitation with some players like that, in which you're just going to be kind of hamstrung.
Yeah,
nothing you can do about it. One way or the other. But I still felt pretty good about it. I still think Pasquantino's probably my single biggest hit. By the way, real quick, your opinion changed on either of the teams last night?
Maybe a smidge. I was doing the show here, and so by the time I got home, the game was
neutral.
The Ravens were basically ending it. It felt like by the time I ended up getting home, I guess the Chargers scored again. But no, I think they're both two pretty good teams who the Chiefs should not lose to this season. But I mean, obviously they played the Ravens already once, and I think the Chargers and Broncos getting better as the season goes on is kind of fun. But I can't say that I'm deeply afraid of either of them in 2024. I think the Chargers. Little Harbaugh Herbie thing. That might work out.
Real quick, to play us out, Drew, here's the song that the text line says was their favorite. I made it for a bar in Waldo. That'll close us out today, Brisco. Thanks for coming in.
It's been a blast.
We'll see you all tomorrow. The Drive coming up next.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men.